is the Sanskrit study that we're going to do. We're going to do A in this video. We're going to do A to Z. So let's see how far we get with A. So, quick overview of why we're doing Sanskrit, Vedic Sanskrit, why we're going to do a study on Vedic Sanskrit. So this is the Watch of Forms. Okay, we also many times refer to it as the angelic forms. So it encompasses all the forms of communication a human can possibly use. Okay, so Vedic Sanskrit is what I deem in Sanskrit philosophy, the Indian philosophy, right? Those Aryan peoples, right? And we have many theories of where they actually came from, right? The difference between those Aryan peoples in the Indus Valley and other timelines compared to the Dravidians, right? It's obvious that, you know, those Aryan peoples may be Western, right? So then there's Vedic Sanskrit, there's Aryan philosophy. So then there's all the timelines in Indus Valley, which is there's a very ancient history to the whole Indus Valley area. We have the traditions of Ayurveda and the herbalism, and all the yoga practices, all the healing traditions. Okay, authentic traditions of humanity, authentic spiritual systems of humanity. So we have to be individualistic, right? Because so we're using all these forms of communication that humanity, that the spirituality, that ancestral and soul of mankind is familiar with. This term familiar, right, has family in it, right? The familiar spiritual systems to humanity, right? So these are authentic spiritual systems. We have to realize the difference, because there's a lot of systems that are just being put on humanity, right? These are spiritual systems that they came up with themselves, that were for themselves. You understand? So we call them EVADAMIC. These are from like the angelic divinities, the EVADAMIC PRO-ASCENSION divinities that are like the angelic guides of humanity, that have vast spiritual traditions and their forms of communication. Because a lot of these humans from these other timelines, when they develop all these vast spiritual systems, where are they getting all this knowledge from, right? So there's higher level angelic versions of humans, the angelic guides, what they call bodhisattvas. Okay, and a lot of these bodhisattvas have actually a lot of knowledge, a lot of spiritual systems themselves, right? Beings that already broke those ties to the wheel of samsara, right? They're not endlessly reincarnating, right? They have a lot of spiritual systems themselves, okay? Very individualistic. This is a key term because we're not even going to go into the negatives, the opposites, but we use all these forms of communication, and we don't really need other men for it per se, right? We're our own authorities, right? Author, like say I'm a writer, the same word which is a writer is author, right? So that's the same word which says authority, right? This is why when human beings are really good at writing, right, we look up to them as authorities, right? So we have to familiarize ourselves with the sacred ancestral consciousness of the soul of mankind on a psychic telepathic level. You know, it really does open up portals in the telestic forms. Okay, these vast traditions, these forms of communication. Okay, the symbols, the art, right, all the imagery, the symbolic codes that they use, the terms, these magical alphabets, all these ancient traditions. And this is a good example of what I'm trying to explain when I say all these forms of communication systems, pluralized, that are authentic. Okay, instead of Christianity, we do Gnosticism. Instead of Islam, we'll do Zoroastrianism. You understand? So we like to go into the roots, right? Portals and telestic forms, by using the same forms of communication, right? Do you know how many humans sat down with these forms of communication systems that came out of the Indus Valley? Many millions, okay? And they contemplated all these concepts, okay? And that's what we're going to do ourselves. And it's a very magical thing that happens when we use these same forms of communication that the spirituality of humanity is familiar with. Initiate these forms of communication, real manage to communicate, right? Individualistic, right? The EVADAMIC pro-ascension systems. Okay, and there's a lot more of them. Okay, but you know, we have a lot of respect for the traditions that came out of the Indus Valley in all these different timelines. We got a lot of understandings and theories concerning where those people actually even came from. Healing traditions, very esoteric. We flush our psyches by using all these forms of communication, real means to communicate. It's a way we actually flush our psyches and purge and cleanse and clear our emotions and purge our psyches, right? Connect energetically to the ancestral consciousness of humanity. So that's where we're connecting to, on an energetic level. Ancestral versions of ourselves and other timelines and outposts that use these ancient dialects and forms of communication. So these are ancestral versions of ourselves and other timelines, right? Those are literally versions of ourselves using all these forms of communication. And we have to awaken those ancestral ancient versions of ourselves by using these same forms of communication. The human body, you know, we invoke spiritual divinities by using forms of communication. Okay? With our diets, right, with our spiritual traditions, we're invoking deities, we're invoking energies, we're invoking ancestral consciousness. And then it could speak through us. And we raise in our vibration by using all these forms of communication that have higher vibratory messages, right? Awakening ancient versions of ourselves through ancestral angelic communication is what that is. Divine avatars, right? So we have all these ancient understandings, and I have many different understandings myself. But let's go right to the source, as opposed to me just, you know, blabbering on. You know, sometimes we do go to authentic spiritual systems of humanity, right? From other timelines. Okay? Sometimes we even go to people with PhDs, right? We'll quote them when we write books, right? Yeah, you know, sure. There's definitely authoritarian sources of information from other men in the world, absolutely. But, you know, there's also a cosmic spiritual omniscience of the multiverse, right? That a lot of the souls of humanity are connected to naturally, that are vast sources of intel that don't come from other human beings, right? So where, that's the understanding, where did all these human beings get all these vast spiritual systems come? Where did they come from? They're not citing anybody, right? Who's the authorities? The archonic deities. Who's the archons? The creators, the powerful deities that developed all these systems. Who are they? Where do they come from? Right? Are they human? Are they angelic? Are they divine? Right? What are they? So, you know, Jyotish, science of light, right? That's the term for astrology, right? All those suns out there, those are all light, right? Science of light. And then our souls, our solar consciousness, right? That's light too. So you have Jyotisha, right? That's the understanding of astrology, right? A lot of vegetarianism in Indus Valley, herbalism, vegetarianism. Okay. We streamline vast database of intel from angelic divinities along with a universal consciousness, cosmic spiritual omniscience in the multiverse from the divine lokas, and develop systems of authentic spirituality aid in the ascension of soul mankind. So we're in all these different timelines, all these different outposts, and we're developing all these spiritual traditions, right? You know, and this is one example of it. Vedic philosophy is one of those traditions. Okay, and there's dozens that we're going to explore throughout the duration of this channel. Ancient history in this valley, know the peoples from the surrounding areas, right? Their traditions, peoples, tribes, healing traditions, herbalism, ancestry, migrations, hidden histories, names, dictionaries, dialects, languages, cuisines, cultures, music traditions, oral traditions, histories of tribal tensions, and orientations, diets, how they connect to animals and nature, right? So this whole Indus Valley area is very, very old, right? We have the three river valley civilizations, right? We have Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia, right? We have the Nile in Egypt, and we have the Indus Valley in modern-day Punjab, right? So that's what? Those are river valley civilizations. So those are all based on the same understandings of the ancient, you know, understandings of civilizations, okay? And then we have the understandings that, hey, look, you know, these are, and then the whole history of South Asia, right? Very interesting. Sanskrit was first found in Syria, right? This is an interesting fact right here, right? And then what does that mean, right? And then there's a difference between these Aryans and Dravidians, right? So these Aryans came in from the West, right? Even that guy that teaches about Sikhism, right? That guy's whiter than I am. You understand? But he's got a big beard on his face, big black beard on his face. Yeah, but he's whiter than I am, right? Those are obviously Aryanic peoples from the West. Okay? And this is a big bone of contention in the academic world because there's a lot of people that think that all these spiritual systems, such as the Vedic Sanskrit system that we're going to explore, is autochthonous to India, indigenous to India, when a lot of other scholars believe, no, these are Aryans that actually came from the West, through the whole Iranian lands, possibly from Syria, okay? And they migrated in all these different timelines into the Indus Valley, as in the same river valley civilization understanding, once again, being mirrored in Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Indus Valley, right? Don't you think maybe those are all the same peoples, maybe? Just migrating, right? Possibly. But there's a big difference between these Aryans in northern India, many times, and Dravidians. And this whole Indian subcontinent has an incredible history, right? I do my DNA test, I'm mostly Sicilian. But, you know, there's such vast history, right, to the subcontinent of India, especially the Indus Valley. Okay, even South India, the Dravidians, they have a whole different hidden history to them, right? Possibly Tamilians, right? They think that they may be Lemurians from pre-Diluvian timelines, right? These lost civilizations, right? So there's a whole and the whole Aryan thing is a northern thing. It may be Western, right? So these people might actually came from Western climes and brought these spiritual systems, these migratory Asiatic tribal peoples. A lot of waves of migrations, a lot of waves of invasions, and a lot of spiritual systems. But look this up. Why is Sanskrit first found in Syria? Right? So this whole, once again, Greece to Indus Valley type of area. Right? A lot of history. That's where a lot of our forms of communication systems come from. And we have to realize we're jumping over those modern Orthodox religions. And we're going right to these roots. Right into Gnosticism, right into Zoroastrianism. Right into the Vedic Sanskrit Indian philosophies. Right? Those are the traditions that we really explore. We're going right into the order of Melchizedek. We're going right into the very ancient systems. Islam just doesn't do it for us. You know, and there's many different reasons why that, because those archontic deities have all these presupposed type of systems that they put on humanity. Well, we go to the ancient traditions, the mythologies, the cosmologies, right? The sequestered spiritual systems, the Chaldean theurgy, for example, right? All these different systems, the Kabbalah even, right, etc. So that's a little bit of overview of why we're choosing this, and once again, it's one of those authentic forms of spiritual consciousness systems of humanity, right? You don't have to be a part of any race or anything. That's a whole thing, you know, in and of itself. That we're the founder of the Watcher Forms. You know, I really don't care what race anyone's part of or what ethnicity they're part of. If I'm from Sicily and I develop a spiritual system, that's relevant to every human on the planet. Okay, and that's what's so special about the Vedic Sanskrit Indian philosophy, is that it's relevant to all the souls of humanity. You know, it's not just meant for Arabs or something. You know, it's not just meant for Japanese people. You understand? It's not just meant for you know, people from Micronesia. No, it's meant for the all of humanity. Okay, and there's a lot of forces that came in and didn't really like that, you know, and that's why there's a lot of religious tensions coming out of the Indus Valley and surrounding areas. A lot of invasions, a lot of tensions, you know, and then the whole Sikhism, you know, came in. That's influenced a lot by Islam, but the original High Aryan Hindus, okay, not only are they maybe from the West, but these are vegetarians, okay, specifically, and they have a lot of herbal traditions. Okay, so there's all these forces going around trying to get rid of our matriarchal consciousness, okay, in servitude to these archonic deities. But these Evadamic angelic divinities, they have all these vast systems. Now this is one of the systems that I believe has been preserved, and it's a very authentic system, and it branches out to so many other forms of communication. And this once again, we're using all these forms of communication, and the understanding is that so many other human minds have sat down and contemplated these forms of communication. Millions and millions and millions of human beings have sat down and contemplating all these sacred forms of communication that we're about to explore, right? It is just that, a pantheon of words, deities. These are deities, right? Even the terms, letters, right? They're characters, right? These are characters when we read. There's a character, right? And then the Greek alphabet, the Greek language, is also known as entities. Entities. They're entities. They're conscious, right? So these are invocation codes of angelic deities. We're gonna do A in this video. We're gonna try to get through all of A, but that's like 70 pages long. Okay. Let's see how far we get. All of A, and then other videos will do B, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc., etc., etc. And these are authentic forms of communication from other timelines, ancestors. Pantheon of words, a forward to the concise dictionary of Indian philosophy. It is an undeserved honor for me to say a few words to introduce you to this latest edition of Professor Grimes' superb and essential reference glossary of the technical vocabulary of the primary language of Indian philosophy and religion, Sanskrit. No beginning student entering that exotic and bewildering world can afford to do so without a concise dictionary of Indian philosophy as a guide to the richest and most precise philosophical vocabulary ever devised or accumulated. A language properly expresses the concerns of those who depend on it. Linguistic legend describes the enormous choice of synonyms expressing the minutely different species of snow in the language of the snowbound Eskimo. Sanskrit, a language which has survived as the living language of Indian philosophy, likewise expresses the exacting concerns of those who read and write in Sanskrit with the details of a spiritual approach to life, philosophical and religious concerns. Although Sanskrit has largely died as a language of everyday religious concerns, everyday life in India, it has survived not only in India but in the diaspora, other philosophies everywhere in the world where Indian philosophy is studied. It has survived as the language of the gods, magic words which can by themselves create states of altered consciousness, keys to open secrets. As a language of vast collection of complex systems of cosmology, epistemology, metaphysics, theology, and ethics, Sanskrit presents a minute discrimination and precision of unbelievable complexity. Whereas, for instance, the culture of the United States has evolved terminology for but two states of consciousness generally acknowledged as possible for living beings, that is, waking and sleeping. The Sanskrit vocabulary of Indian philosophy provides a vast, subtle, and subtly differentiated set of definitions of consciousness in myriad states. Such a rich vocabulary is required for a culture as preoccupied with consciousness as the Eskimo is with frozen water. Sanskrit records the Indians' minds, minute investigations into consciousness, providing a vocabulary uniquely subtle and precise and finely divided in its sensitivity to the meaning and feeling of states of consciousness, concepts, and processes of the mind and soul in the universe. The myriad words of Indian thoughts and spirituality are as richly diverse as the populous pantheon of the Hindu gods. The student of Indian philosophy, perhaps more than any other student, greatly benefits from a gaze tear to the bewilderingly diverse and complex map to the many journeys whose destinations are an understanding of reality and enlightenment. Professors Grimes' fine and wonderfully useful dictionary is truly a vademecum for such a journey. Concise dictionary in philosophy. In terms of English, is the outcome of a personal experience, need in the field of Indian philosophy. The original work was compiled as an introduction to the basic terms found in major schools of classic Indian philosophy. The terms fundamental to epistemology, metaphysics, and practical teaching were found therein. The schools dealt with here include Buddhism, Jainism, Charvaka, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, Vedanta, Advaita, Visisadvaita, Dvaita, Saiva, Siddhanta, Veda Saivism, Kashmir Saivism, and Siva Advaita. This new and revised edition has come about due to a continued correspondence with many readers of the first edition. Not only have I rearranged the placement of the Devanagari script to avoid the impression that it is not alphabetically correct, but I've added to old definitions as well as adding some 500 new terms. In the original work, I strove to provide mainly philosophical terms, since other dictionaries, encyclopedias, and other word books exist in regard to Indian religious, or I would prefer to call them popular Hinduism terms. My correspondence has led me to include at least some of these terms in this new edition. Like its predecessor, this dictionary, I hope, will serve as an introductory source book with cross-references wherever relevant. I have attempted to give the common or non-technical definition of a word first, and then if this word has a special meaning or meanings within a particular philosophical system, I've listed such. For example, a word jiva, individual soul, has 14 different technical definitions listed, since each school conceives of this concept differently. I have endeavored to cover at the least the basic concepts fundamental to each individual system. Further, if there is a technical definition given by one school which coincides with that given by another school, Nyaya and Sankhya, or Bhatta Mimamsa and Advaita Vedanta, I have only listed the most common reference. I have also endeavored to give cross-references wherever appropriate. For instance, consider the close interaction of the term avidya with the related terms maya, anurvachanya, sadasad, vilaksana, anadi, bhavarupa, jnananivartya, avarana, and viksepa. This book aims at being both basic, in some areas comprehensive. It is basic in that it includes virtually all the words basic to the various Indian philosophical systems and defines these terms in their dictionary or common and literal meanings. The book is comprehensive in that it defines many of its terms with the specific meanings that a word has for a specific school. The purpose of this book is to provide not only the academic community, but also the interested lay individual with a dictionary of most Indian philosophical terms. Terms are listed both in Roman transliteration and Devanagari script, along with definitions in English. At the end of the book are given 14 charts which provide at a glance information regarding relationships, categories, and source books relevant to the individual schools. These charts are referred to in the main body of the text, and the reader can consult them wherever appropriate. Also, there has been added a 15th chart providing a list of the most frequently quoted Indian philosophy authors and their major philosophical works. Since this book is intended primarily for individuals who are not specialists in Sanskrit, I've compiled the Sanskrit terms in the order of the English alphabet. I've compiled the Sanskrit terms in order of the English alphabet. Wherever relevant, I have illustrated the definitions with the traditional examples used in Indian philosophical texts. For example, for Savya Bichara, fire and smoke, or for Ashraya Asida, a sky lotus. One will also find a scheme of transliteration and a scheme of pronunciation to assist the reader. So yeah, these are deities. All these different terms are cosmic entities. Is what they are. They're entities. I mean, these are the invocations. These are invocations. These dialects. These are magical dialects. Is what they are. And like I said, it's a very magical thing that occurs when we're using forms of communication, and we don't need other men for it, right? A lot of it in academic programming. I'm not even talking about those collectivized networks. I'm talking about even in the academic world. We always think we need other men as authorities, right? That we can't do these explorations on our own. That we need other human beings to guide us and walk us and hold our hands, right? Acknowledgements. I would like to acknowledge my eternal indebtedness to my teachers, without whom this work would never have been written. First, I have more than words can say to Professor Bala Subramaniam, former director of the Radhakrishnan Institute for Advanced Study in Philosophy, University of Madras. Not only did he patiently teach me Indian philosophy in a traditional way, but he personally watched over my life in India. I also owe an eternal debt of gratitude to Professor P.K. Sundaram, who, along with Dr. Bala Subramaniam, taught me Advaita Vedanta and spent literally years discussing philosophy, giving me insights into the Indic world. I will not forget. I would like to thank my other teachers at the Radhakrishnan Institute for Advanced Indian Philosophy, without whose assistance and guidance this volume would not have been possible. Ramachandran, Gapalan, Rathinas, Bapati, Ganapati, Devadosh, Ragavan. I must thank thank all the readers and reviewers of this work who suggested, demanded, implored me to write and rewrite again and again. Though everyone may still not be satisfied, its evolution has been gratifying. I would like to thank the State University of New York Press for all that they have done and continue to do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I would like to thank the National University of Singapore for providing me this time and facilities to update this work. I offer my pranams to the SIDA Foundation for providing me with the place and time to work on this new and revised edition. Many of the new terms were suggested and or inspired during this period. I wish to acknowledge the kind and generous citizens of Shikar David Campbell-Cynthia in the words adequate obligation to them. Express my obligation to them. One of my great teachers is Helena Blavatsky, right? And she's she's an aspirant of the Vedic teachings as well. And her books, The Secret Doctrine 1 and 2 and 3, you have a lot of gleanments, okay, of the ancient systems. That's one of the great teachers of humanity, Helena Blavatsky, okay. She was an aspirant of the Vedic teachings of the high Aryan Hindus. So we're going to get through as many pages as we can in this video. We might have to do a second video, but this is going to be letter A of the whole Sanskrit system. Okay, A, Abadam. Abadam, liberated, free, not bound. So, I've actually studied Sanskrit so I can read all these words. Okay? Abadam, right? Abadita. The opening right there, that's a D. Then these things, that's an I. E, right? So the line on the other side is the I, and then if there was a line on the other side of the letter, it's an E, right? That's a B. Kind of looks like a B, right? If it was a circle, because there's a line in the middle of that B right there, so that's what makes it a B. If there was a circle, what would that make it? Maybe a V. Yeah, it's a V. If that line wasn't in that circle, it'd be a V, right? Abadita, non-contradicted, unsublated. Abadita means non-contradicted, unsublated. In the epistemology of Advaita Vedanta, valid knowledge, Prama, is new knowledge which has not been contradicted. Abhanga, a particular metrical composition in praise of the deity, a devotional song composed in the Marathi language, expressing the longing of a devotee for God. So Abhanga. So this right here, that's A. So it all starts with A, right? Those are A's. And then this is a B, right? These are B's right here. Has an opening right there, B. Then that little dot has a that's an N, right? And that's a G, right? And then a lot in the Sanskrit system, right? Abadita, that's a T, right? So that ends in an A. Everything always ends in A. Okay, Abasa, the shining forth, A, B, that's a S, ends in A, right? Abasa, okay? So a lot in the Sanskrit language, a lot of times it ends in a, even though there's no A, right? But that line right there does signify A, right? Well, that's one of the differences between Sanskrit and Hindi, right? There's a lot of terms in Hindi that end in letters, and they don't end in an a. Like all these terms, a lot of times end in a. Okay. Abhatsa, the shining forth, appearance, emanation, manifestation, creation, semblance, conduct motivated by selfish desire. Fallacy according to Jainism. Abhasa, Abhasa Vada, Abhasa, and that's a B. That's a V, actually. See how remember we were explaining? When the line's in there, it's a B. When there's no line in it, it's a V. Okay? Abhasa Va, that line signifies A as well. Abhasa Vada, that's a D. Ends in A, once again. Abhasa Vada. Theory of appearance or manifestation, a causation theory in Advaita Vedanta which posits that the individual soul, Jiva, is a seeming or illusory appearance of the absolute Brahman. It maintains that all manifestations of name and form is an appearing to be in the place of an actual existence. The unity of being appears to be a multiplicity in the sense of its seeming to appear as such. Those ignorant of the underlying unity Brahman behind this apparent diversity assume the diversity to be real, whereas it has no real independent status. It is a variation of the reflection theory. The creation theory of the Siva and Sakta schools, which posits that the universe consists of appearance, which are all real in the sense that they are aspects of the ultimate reality. The word is an effect, and Siva is the cause. The basic creation theory of Kashmir Saivism, it explains the absolute freedom and autonomy of the Lord to manifest externally the world of names and forms, which always exists within him. Accordingly, the world is the effect and Siva is the cause. The world is real, not an illusion, as taught in Advaita Vedanta. Okay, so this is Abhautika. That's A, B, and then these two lines coming out that said like a ow, abau, and that's a T, I, Abhautika. Ends in a once again, even though that's a K sound, that's like a K. Abhautika, non-material, immaterial, or subtle. Abhava, once again, when the line's not in that B, it's a V. When the line's in the B, it's a B. When there's no line in the B, it's a V. There's a lot of B's and V's, even in the Greek language, they're confusing B's and V's a lot. Abhava, non-existence, absence, negation, nothing. From the verb root bu, to become, exist. A means to not, right? Putting A in front of a lot of terms negates the term in Sanskrit, okay? I think vidya is like knowledge, and avidya is like ignorance, for example, right? Or suras are like divine beings, and asuras are demons, right? So putting an A in front of a lot of terms in Sanskrit negates the term. Abhava, the Nyaya Vaisesika, Bhata Mamamsa, and Dvaita Vedanta schools hold that non-existence is a distinct category. The Buddhist schools deny the existence of negation altogether, as do the Prabhakara Mamamsa and Visadvaita Vedanta schools. Non-existence has two main divisions: absence of one entity in another, samsarga abhava, which is of three kinds. For example, prior non-existence, pragabhava, and annihilative non-existence, pradavamsa abhava, and absolute non-existence, atyanta abhava, one object not being another, and nyanya abhava, or reciprocal non-existence. Abhavarupa dharma. Abhavarupa dharma, little R, that's an R right there. That's an M, right? That's a D. So this dharma right there, that D, Arma, Bhavarupa, Dharma, the negative attribute, Abhavatmaka, a type of motion, Dharma, in Jainism, which indicates the distinction of one thing from another. Abhavatmaka, so that little line right there, that's an M, K. A, B, above, that's a V, it's a, line's a A. A, B, V, A, B, A, V, abava, T, abavat, maka, abhavya. So that's a combination of a V and a Y right there, and it ends in A once again. Abhavya, one who is incapable of attaining liberation, a peculiar doctrine in Jainism, which asserts that certain individuals may never attain liberation as they do not possess the capacity for it. Abhavya. Some people just cannot be free, I guess. It's the understanding of abhavya. Abhaya. So once that's a Y right there. This letter right here is a Y. Abhaya ends in A once again. So A-B-Y. Abhaya. A lot of times A goes in between all the letters in Sanskrit. Okay? Fearlessness, without fear. Once again is a not, a negation of the term, and then bhaya means fear. Bhaya, Sanskrit for fear. Abhaya means fearless. The divine virtue, fearlessness, It is a state of steadfastness in which one is not swayed by the fear-born inner or outer enemies. Abhaya mudra is a symbolic gesture formed by raising one hand with the palm outward, meaning to do not fear. Many deities, saints, and idols are depicted with this gesture. It is the hand gesture of fearlessness or seal of fearlessness. All fear is ultimately groundless, for one's true nature is bliss. In Advaita Vedanta, abhaya is equivalent to liberation, moksha. So fear would be enslavement, ignorance, right? Fear, right? Very low level consciousness that brings people down, right? When they live in fear, right? Abhaya is fearlessness. They actually say it's equivalent to liberation, free. Fearlessness is free, according to Advaita Vedanta. And freedom, liberation is moksha. So this is Abheda. Okay, this line going up makes an A sound. Abheda, non-difference duality. Abheda, non-difference duality. This is Abheda, Abheda dar Shishana. A-B-E-D, Abheda. There's always an A in a lot of these, in between a lot of the letters in Sanskrit, all by itself. A-B-E, Abhe, da, dar. That's a R. We saw a R over here. Right? Where was the R? This in the term dharma. That's a D right there with the opening right there. That makes it D. R M A dharma. Dharma. Opposite of karma. You have dharma, then you have karma, right? A beta darshana, that's a R, that's a S. That makes a sh sound. That S with that line above it makes a sh. It's more like a sh as opposed to a s. See, because that's like a s. That's a sh. Okay, that right there is a s. That signifies a M. That's a M. Samsarga. That's once again another R on top of that. That's a G. G. R right here. Abheda darshana, cognition or realization of non-individuality. Abheda samsarga, Abheda samsarga. Once again, A-B-E-D-S-M. Abheda sam, that's another S right there. R, in between all the Sanskrit letters is a lot of times A, so you have sar. Then this right here is a G. It's right here, this line with the dot, kind of, with the dot right there. That makes a G. Relation of non-duality, relationship of identity. Abheda Shruti. Abheda Shruti. Abheda Shruti. So it makes it S, and that's a R. Abheda Shru. So that instead of a lot of times when it's not a A, it'll do like it this, like that's a E, right? That's a U, right? So these little markings right here, right? Obviously A-E-I-O-U, right, goes into these letters as markings, like that right there. That's a T, but it ends in T, right? So that line with the connection right there, that makes a T, okay? And if that line was on the opposite, that makes it kind of. If the line was on the other side, it'd make it E. You have and you have E. You'll see that line being on the other side sometimes. E. Abheda Shruti, a scriptural text whose purport is non-duality. The Upanishadic text, Mahavakya, which express non-difference between individual soul, Jivatman, and the Supreme Being, Param Atman. Individual soul, and then that's the cosmic soul. So there's the Jivatman, Jiva soul. Atman may mean like soul or divinity, right? Jivatman. Then there's Param Atman, which is the universal soul, cosmic soul. Jivatman, then there's Param Atman. Abheda Shruti is a scriptural text whose purport is non-duality. Abheda Upaya. Abheda U, this is a U, that's a letter for U. that's a P, that's a A, and then Y. Abeda with the opening. B, that's a A. Abeda upaya. Sambhava upaya. Abeda upaya. Abhichara. So whenever you see these C's, that right there's a C right there. Abhichara. Abhichara. That's a ch. Okay. Abhi. Right. B opening B. Right. Abhichara. That's a R. If you haven't seen an R yet, that's a R right there in Sanskrit. Abhichara. Incantation, exercising, spell, magic. Abhichara is an incantation, a spell. Okay. Abhichara, abida, and then see how that's a b with the opening. Okay, this letter with the opening is a d, abida. Primary meaning, literal sense, abida, abidama, abida opening, d, b opening. Okay, abidama, b that line, e. Abhidhamma. 2 M's in a row right there. Connected. 2 M's. Abhidhamma. Metaphysics. Tripatika. Abhidhamma is Sanskrit for metaphysics. Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma. Abhideya. 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 A nameable or denotable thing. Spiritual practices. According to Vaishnavism, the means of attaining the goal of life. It is one of the 3 cardinal points which mark the absolute region, knowledge of the eternal relation between the Lord and the individual, Sambandha, Jnana, spiritual practices, Abhideya, and the goal of life, Prayojana. Abhideya, spiritual practices, Abhideya, Abhigamana. So once again, you have Abhigamana, that's A, that's a B, Gamana, that's a M, and that's a N. Abhigamana, morning worship, Abhigamana, Abhigata, Abhiga. So that looks like a D, right? But it doesn't have an opening. Okay? So when there's an opening at that letter, when it's closed, it's a G. When it's open, it's a D, right? So then you have Abhigata, and that's always a T. A type of contact producing sound, striking impact. Abhigraha. That's a G, and that little line right there makes it a R. Abhigraha. And this letter is a H. Looks kind of like an H. Abhigraha. Resolution. Abhihitanvayavada. Abhihitanvayavada. The theory of the construction of the uttered, relating the meanings of the words of a sentence after they are uttered. The Bhatta Vamamsa theory holds that words independently signify their own separate meanings, and subsequently these isolated meanings combine again to produce the single meaning of a sentence. Thus, a sentence sense is a later cognition coming from the construction of the meanings of words, which express one connected idea. One first remembers the isolated meanings of the words, and then a simultaneous collective memory gives the same a collective meaning. Abhihitan Vayavada. So these are all E. Abhihitan connected V. No line in that B right there makes it a V, and that's an N, right? Abhihitan Vaya, that's a Y. Vaya, another V, Vada. Abhihitan Vayavada. Theory of construction of the uttered, relating the meanings of the words of a sentence after they are uttered. Okay, so then you have Abhijna. Let's take a nice letter. That makes it Jna. Okay, Abhijna. Recognize, be aware of, perceive, know, recollection. Abhikalpana. A-B, that makes it a I. Once again, this makes it a I. Right here. Abi, I. This sort of line connected on the left side, I. That's H, he, right? Abish, Abishna, Abi, Abika. That's a K sound. Once again, that's an that's a P, that's an N, that's a A. Abikalpana, there's usually a line, but that's actually an L and a P connected. There's usually a line here next to make that L and L. Abhikalpana, cogent anticipatory conception which is necessary in the initial stage for forming an idea of the principles which are beyond ordinary conception. Abhilapa, BL right here, so that's an L and a P connected, but when you take that P away, the actual L letter looks like that. Abhilapa. Abhilapa, the association of name and permanence to objects perceived. Abhimana, Abhimana, Abhiman, M-A-N-A, Abhimana, conceit, attachment, egoism, pride, man to think, Abhi, too much of. Okay, probably connected to karma. Abhimana, too much man, right? Try to be a spiritual being in the universe. Try not to be a man in the world, right? Too much man, right? Try to be a spiritual being in human form, as opposed to a man, man. This whole word, it's a man to think, obviously where we get man, right? Then you have manvantara. You got all these different terms. You got manas, Sanskrit for mind, okay? M-A-N-A-S is mana, Sanskrit for mind. Abhimana, too much thinking. Right, so we're egotistical, right? We have attachments, we have karma, right? Abhimana. The function of the ego, ahankara. So the Sanskrit for ego is ahankara. It gives rise to the feelings like I am the body, I am male, right, etc. A state of mind which interprets experience as mine. Abhimana dravya. Abhimana dravya. So that's a V and a Y connected. Abhimana dravya. The ego conceit, ego substance. Abhimana dravya. Abhimukti. Mukti means to liberate. Okay, abhi toward. Okay, abhi too much of. Abhi toward. Abhimukti, towards liberation. Mukti. Abhimu. So that's a that's a E. So they're putting these little markings once again on these Sanskrit terms to signify A-I-O-U, for example, right? Abhimukti. So that's a K and a T combined, but if that K is connected to that E, the whole K and a T ends in Kti. Abhimukti. That's toward liberation. Abhimukti. Liberation, freedom, right? Fearlessness. Okay? Abhinava, Anyatha. This is a T that looks like kind of like a Y, right? So that's an N and a Y, right? But that's a th. That's a TH right there. Anyatha. That's a kya. That's a kya. Okay, so this right here is the K, and that connects to the Y. Kyati. Abhinava Anyatha Kyati. Abhinava Anyatha Kyati. Kya, K and a Y connected. Kya, T, T-E, T-E, T-I, okay, but it's pronounced E, okay? Abhinava Anyatha Kyati. The theory of apprehension, otherwise, the Dvaita Vedanta theory of error. It is a combination of asat, Kyati, in that the object of the erroneous cognition is held to be unreal, and of Anyatha Kyati, in that the object of error appears as otherwise than what it is. Thus, what is seen in erroneous cognition is unreal, but it is seen in a substrate which is real. Kyati Vada. Abhinava Gupta. Yeah, Gupta. I think that's a tribe. Gupta, right? Abhinava Gupta. A-B-E. E, that's a I. Once again, a B, that's a N, that's a V, that's a G, but that makes it a U. Abhinavagupta. That's a P and a T connected, ends in A. Abhinavagupta. Abhinavagupta. Commentator and great exponent of Kashmir Saivism. He was of the lineage of Vasugupta and Somananda, and author of numerous works including Tantra Loka, Tantra Sarda, and Isvarda Pratyabhishna Vimarsini. Tradition considers him an incarnation of Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti. You got Tantra Loka. This term Loka is interesting. The lokas to the east are the astral planes to the west. They're like the higher angelic realms, and spheres. You got Vaikuntha Loka, for example, right? They're like the divine realms, right? Abhinaya, to stream forth, to represent dramatically, expressing sentiments. Abhinaya. In classical Indian dance, to indicate a passion, emotion, or purpose by look, gesture, etc. Abhinivesha. Vesha, once again, that's a sha. We had a sh in one of the terms on the first page. We had a sha. That's a sh. Has a marking that makes it a sh, as opposed to a s. Abhinivesha. Abhinivesha. So that's a V with that little marking right there that makes it a A. Abhinivesha. Will to live, strong desire, false identification of the self with the body or mind. Right? A lot of the philosophy in Sanskrit Vedic teachings is about, liberation of the mind and realizing, we're in these illusory physical bodies, but that's not really us. Right? We're connected to a non-localistic consciousness. Right? That's a spiritual consciousness. That's not really here and now in a way. Right? It's not physical, right? And that's one of the keys to liberation is the freedom of the mind and the liberation from the mind from the body. Okay? Will to live, strong desire, false identification of the self with the body or mind. So the self is something divine, right? And it's immortal and it has all these different versions of itself. Right? This current incarnation, right? We have angelic higher level versions of ourselves, right? That's connected to ourself right now. But that's many times different than the physical body or our personality, right? One of the 5 types of afflictions, klesha, according to the yoga school, it is an instinctive clinging to life and the dread of death. It is rooted in ignorance, avidya, right? Vidya means knowledge, right? And then putting an A in front of a lot of Sanskrit terms negates the term. So that's avidya, which means ignorance. So this is one of the afflictions, klesha, one of the afflictions, klesha, Sanskrit for affliction, avidya, Sanskrit for ignorance. Abhinavesha, abhina, okay, that's apparently an N sound, abhina, undifferentiated, not different. That really looks like a TR, okay, that looks like a TR right there to me. But maybe they're wrong, maybe I'm wrong. Abhina, let's pronounce it abhina, okay? Abhina nimittopadana, abhina nimittopadana. So apparently this is making an N sound. It looks a lot like the TR letter, tra, okay? But we'll see the TR letter that I'm talking about. But apparently this for now is an N. Abhina undifferentiated. Abhina nimittopadana. Okay, so this A, usually that's a A, but when it has a thing going to the left, that line right there, okay, that's an A, right? No, that's an O, excuse me. That right there is an O. Abhina topadana. Abhina, that's a T, Abhina to, that's a P, that's a D, that's an N. Abhina topadana. Abhina, that's an N, okay, Abhina nimittopadana. Abhina because that's an I, right? Abhina Abhinanimitopadana. So keep in mind when it's this line right here, usually it's a, but when it has when it has that sound right there, that's a o. Abhinatopadana. The Abhinatopadana is the Advaita Vedanta theory that the efficient and material causes are one and non-different. Both causes are the absolute Brahman, since there is ultimately nothing but Brahman. Visadvaita Vedanta also accepts this theory. Abhipraya. This little marking right there, that's a P. That little mark right there signifies Abhipraya. Abhipraya, intention, opinion. Abhipraya is an intention or an opinion. Abhisandana. Opening right there. N and a D combined. Abi S. Abi, do a lot of Abi. S. Ndana. Abhisandana. Coordination, binding together. Abhisankranti. So this is making it Abhisankranti. N and a T combined, and with that I connected to it. So it's Anti, Abhisankranti. This is an N and a K, apparently. Abhisankranti is a synthesis. Abhiseka. This P with a line in it is like a S noise. Abhiseka. Sprinkling. Consecration, anointing, ceremony, ritual, bathing. The anointing of a deity, person, or sacred implement. Any ablution or ritual bath given to an image, idol, deity, saint, person, or other sacred entity in substances prescribed by agamic scripture. Water, curd, milk, honey, ghee, rose water, the stream of substances, each with its own unique properties, serves to cleanse the deity's power and channel its divine energies. Abhiseka, Abhivyakta, A-B-V-Y connected, K-T connected, both end in Abhivyakta, manifested. Abhivyakti yogyata, Abhivyakti yogyata, Abhivyakti yogyata. That's a G right there. Yogyata. Abhivyakti yogyata. Fitness for manifestation. That part of the internal organ which pervades the object, assumes the form of the object, and invests the object with the character of objectness, known as a fitness for manifestation. Abhoga. Immediate experience and gross attachment of the mind to one thing. AB. See this line with the going out like that to the left? Abhoga. And this is always a G. We have a G over here. That right there is a G. It's just it doesn't have the other line to it. But that's a G. When it's a line down like that, and there's like kind of like a dot like that, connected. Gyata, right? Abhoga. Immediate experience and gross attachment of the mind to one thing. Abhoga. Abranta. See the little line right there? Because that's a B, but when it has a little line, Abra, that's an N and T connected. Abranta, non-illusory, real, true. Abu, U, Abuta, okay, non-existence, unborn from a not without the verb bu to be exist, bu to be exist, bu to be exist. Abhyantarda, Abynntr, Abhyantarda. Internal objects. According to the Sautrantikas, it has two subclasses, Chitta, or intelligence, and Cheta, or that which belongs to intelligence. So Chitta, right, we have a Sanskrit term, Chidambardam, which means the whole of consciousness. And always when we see these C's, right, it's a Chitta. Chitta or intelligence. Chitta, Sanskrit for intelligence. Chitta. Abhyanushna. So that's a GN right there. That letter right there is a Jna. That's a B with opening, but it's connected to a Y. Abya, and then an N, and that's a U. Abnushna. Abyanushna. Abyanushna. A logical concession. Abyanushna. Abhyasa. Abhyasa. Continuous endeavor, constant practice, repetition, exercise, exertion. As to throw. Abi toward. Abi toward. As to throw. As to throw. Abhyasa pratyaya. Abhyasa pratyaya. Repetitional cognition. Abhyudaya. Abhyudaya. Prosperity, festival, rise of any heavenly body. Rise of a heavenly body. Like a sun maybe. Abhyudaya. Abhyudaya. The purpose of life as related to material prosperity and individual and social welfare is enjoined by the ritual section of the Vedas, Karma Kanda, and is the empirical objective of everyone. Abhyupagama Siddhanta. Abhyupagama Siddhanta. Abhu, that's a B and a Y connected to a U. Abhu, that's a P, that's a G. Abhyupagama Si, and then that's a D. Siddhanta connected to N and a T. Abhyupagama Siddhanta. Abhyupagama Siddhanta. Abhyupagama Siddhanta. For the sake of argument, opponents' views are granted uncritically, thereby establishing a conclusion, the consequences of which then will then be refuted. Achaksu Darshana. This is ch noise right there. Right, the term cheetah, Sanskrit for intelligence, starts with this letter. Cheetah. Achaksu. This is like a K and a S combined to a U. Achaksudar, that's a R, that's a Sh. Arshana. Achaksudarshana, indeterminate understanding, perception by means of the senses of the individual. That's a Chi, that's a Ch again, once again. Achala, it's a L. Achala, the immovable, standing still, firm, steady, unwavering, without change, mountain. Anachal, Achala, the immovable. The fourth of yoga charas, non-originated elements, asamskarta dharma, a state of total disregard for all pleasure or power. Asamskarta dharma and bodhisattva. Achamaniya. Okay, this is the first time we see this letter on the other side of the letter. So that Achamaniya, it makes more like a E kind of noise. Achamaniya. Because when that line is on the other side of a letter, right, it's I. But when it's on the other side, it's like an E. Achamaniya. Water offered to the deity for rinsing the mouth. Achamana. It also implies sipping a few drops of water from the palm of the hand prior to religious rites. Acharta, immovable. We have achala, which is the immovable. Acharta, immobile. Another term, acharta, good conduct. Acharta means conduct, good behavior, custom, practice, teaching. Technically, acharta is a particular approach to liberation. Tantra distinguishes between the right hand approach, Dakshina acharta, and the left hand approach, Vama acharta. Saivism makes a distinction between charya, kriya, yoga, and jnana, as well as between the Vedic approach, Veda acharta, the Vaisnavite approach, Vaisnavacharya, the Saivite approach, Saivacharya, the left-hand approach, Vamacharya, the doctrinal approach, Dantacharya, and the best approach of all, the traditional approach, Kula Acharya, Acharya Linga. This is kind of like a masculine term, may actually refer to the phallus itself. Acharya Linga, Acharya Linga. You get the Siva Linga, right? Acharya Linga, the individual divine, Linga Stala. Acharya Linga. So this is like an N and a G ending in A. Nga. Acharya Linga. Acharya Mula. Source of religious conduct. Acharya, preceptor, teacher, spiritual guide, monk, scholar, master, from the verb root char, to go toward, hence approach. Acharya. A title affixed to the names of learned spiritual individuals. Technically, it is a person who lives according to the scriptures, sastra, Sanskrit for scriptures, sastra, of particular tradition. It is knowing or teaching the acharya or rules of conduct. The title applies especially to one who invests the student with the sacrificial thread and instructs one in the Vedas. According to Jainism, one stage of the ascetic order, their duties are to initiate people in the spiritual path, to guide, instruct, and correct those aspirants, and to govern and regulate the monks of the order. Acharya Abhimana. Acharya Bhimana. Acharya Bhimana. Acharya Bhimana. Devotion to the teacher. Achetana, non-conscious, inanimate, inert matter. Achetana, achintya, unthinkable, incomprehensible, inexplicable, from the root chin, to think, chin, chita, Sanskrit for intelligence, chidambaram, again Sanskrit for whole of consciousness, chin, root Sanskrit to think, chin, not think, achintya, unthinkable, incomprehensible, achintya beda Vedanta. Achintya Beda Vedanta, a Vedantic school of philosophy founded by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, called unthinkable, dualistic, non-dualism, or ineffable difference in identity. It propounds that there is both difference and non-difference between all individual souls and the absolute Brahman. So you have the individual souls of Jiva, and then you have absolute Brahman, which is like the universal soul, but this cosmic soul, but this dualistic relation of both difference and non-difference is logically unthinkable. Achit, insentient, inert, right? So you're negating chit, which is like consciousness. Insentient, okay, achit, insentient, inert, non-conscious matter, inanimate, phenomenal object, like a wool, okay? That'd be achit. Or like fucking the pillow or something. According to Vedaicism, comprises the 24 elements, tattva, beginning from primordial nature, prakriti. So Sanskrit for prakriti, you got mula, Sanskrit for root, you got mula prakriti, you got mula over here, source of something. It's like that's the root, that's the source. Achara mula, right? You got mula prakriti, which is like the quintessence, the root of nature. Right, that's mula prakriti. So nature is prakriti in Sanskrit, prakriti. One of the three realities according to Visadvaita Vedanta, Tattvatraya, Adara Pratyaya, regardful cognition. A-D, Ara, P-R, P connected to R, T connected to Y, Aya, Adara Pratyaya, Adarshana. So you got Adarshana, you got Darshana coming up a lot. You see Arshana, Darshana, Adarshana. Non-awareness, lack of discernment. Abhuta, A-D, Adbhuta, A-D-B-U-T-A, Adbhuta, wonderful, marvelous, miraculous. Adbhuta, Adesha. A-D-E, Sha. See, that letter is a sh right here. Over here we have it connected to a R. That connection is a Adarshana. Then you have sh all by itself. That D right there with that line to the left, that's Adesha. Adama, the low below. Adamadama, the lowest. Adarda. That's a D with the opening right there. Okay? Ada, D with the opening. Adama, D, Adama, opening. D, opening. M, Adama, Adarda. To support or prop, support, substratum, body, apparatus, from the root dir plus A, to support. The term designates various places upon one's body whereon one focuses one's attention for purposes of discipline, concentration, and meditation. Dharma, demerit, unrighteousness, failure to perform one's proper duty, medium of motion. Generally speaking, the word stands for unrighteous action or lawlessness. Such behavior stems from a lack of virtue or righteousness. Jainism understands this concept as totally different from what it means in all the other systems of Indian philosophy. According to Jainism, it means the principle of rest which pervades the entire universe. It is one of the 5 categories included in the term non-self, ajiva. So jiva means soul, right? You're putting a in front, so negates soul, ajiva, non-self, right? So jiva is connected to soul / self, right? Along with the medium of motion, dharma. So they're saying dharma means motion, right? My understanding of dharma is the opposite of karma. We'll get to that. It is considered to be responsible for the systematic character of the universe. Without it, no substance could remain at rest. Adharma. Adharmastikaya. Adharmastikaya. That's an A, that's a D, that's an R connected to M. Adharma, that's an A sound with that line. Adharma, that's a S and a T connected to an I. Adharmastikaya. That's a K, that's a Y, everything ends in A in Sanskrit. Adharmastikaya. Adharmastikaya. Medium of rest in Jainism. Adeya, occasion, dependent upon, supported. Type of power, Sakti. Sakti. You got Siva, you got Sakti, right? Sakti is power in Sanskrit, Sakti. That is occasioned in a thing by some new operation as an idol when it is consecrated. Adi Bhautika. Adi B, then this line with those 2 lines connected going up to the left like that, that's a Ow. Adi Bow. Adi Bow. Okay? Ti Ka. Okay? Adi Bow. Ti Ka. Of inanimate objects, of elements, physical and extrinsic. Adi Bhautika. Adi Bhautika. According to Sankhya, one of the 3 types of sorrows, these are miseries caused by extrinsic natural influence inflicted by other individuals, beasts, birds, inanimate objects. Adi Bhautika. Adi Devika. That's like a those 2 lines right there. Adi Devika. Cosmic, supernatural, divine, celestial, pertaining to deities. Adi Devika. Dev has this Dev, so Devas, the Devas. Okay, the whole Devas, those are like spiritual beings, maybe. The Devas. Adi Devika. According to Sankhya, one of the 3 types of sorrows. These are miseries caused by extraneous supernatural such as spirits, demons, ghosts. Gaudapada also included herein miseries due to heat and cold, wind and rain, due to the theory that these phenomena in their origination are presided over by deities. Adi Bhautika and Adhyatmika. Adhikara, chapter, authority, qualification. Adhikara Mukta. Mukta, once again, is that liberation. Okay, Mukta or Mukti, Mukta. Adhikara Mukta. Pure soul, qualification, qualified for liberation, a term used in Seva Siddhanta to denote state of the soul in which it is qualified to receive spiritual knowledge. Adhikara Mukta. Adhikarana. So this last letter right here is the N. Haven't seen that yet. That's another letter for N. Adhikarana, topic, set of arguments, section of a textbook. A sutra work is divided into chapters. Adhyaya, each chapter is divided into sections. Pada. Chapters Adhyaya, sections Pada. And each section is further divided into topics. Adhikarana, topics. Adhikarana, topics. The procedure of exposition for an Adhikarana is 5-fold. First, the Vedic science is taken up as a subject for investigation. Visaya Vakya, the investigation. Visaya Vakya, then a doubt, samsaya, is raised regarding the correct meaning of the sentence. Then the prima facie view, parva paksa, is stated. Then is the refuted uttara paksa, refuted, and finally the conclusion, Nirnyaya is established. Nirnyaya, conclusion. Nirnyaya is established. These are the 5 limbs of a topic. These 5 limbs of a topic are also listed as Visaya, Visaya, Samsaya. So that's Visaya, that's Vishaya, Samshaya, Pardava, Paksa, and Siddhanta. Adhikarana Siddhanta, Adhikarana Siddhanta, an established conclusion which once being accepted, other conclusions will naturally follow. Adhikarin, eligible person, a qualified aspirant after liberation. Spiritual aspirant, eligible person, qualified aspirant after liberation. This spiritual aspirant. This implies a qualified religious aspirant, a fit student who has shown his or her deservedness to be taught. It includes both the fitness to be taught and a capability to learn. The 2 elements deemed absolutely necessary for a religious aspirant are humility and truthfulness. Sankaracharya lists the 4-fold prerequisites to spiritual disciplines. Sankaracharya lists the 4-fold prerequisites to spiritual disciplines. Sankaracharya. Adhikarin, eligible person. So this is an aspirant, somebody that's eligible for the higher teachings, someone that's capable of being initiated. Okay, Adhikarin, Adhikarin, Adhikaribeda, Adhikaribeda, Adhikaribeda. The difference of the qualified aspirants. Aspirants are distinguished by different qualifications. All are not capable of apprehending the same truth. Thus, some are taught action, karma, taught action, karma. Others are taught devotion, bhakti. You got Bactrians, right? That same word is bhakti. You got the Bactrians. You got a place called Bactria, right? You got the Bhaktiari tribes, Bhaktiarianic peoples. Devotion is bhakti. Sanskrit for devotion is bhakti. You got a place named Bactria, which is like modern day Tajikistan. Devotion is bhakti. And still others are taught wisdom. Wisdom is jnana. That's a good Sanskrit term. Wisdom is jnana. Adhikari vyavasta. Adhikari vyavasta. Adhikari vyavasta. Determining the qualified. The individual human being identified with the gross body. Adhisthana. So that's an S sound connected to a T. Adhisthana. That's a weird letter right there, right? They always like to combine letters sometimes. Adhisthana. Basis, substratum, ground. Adhisthana. Adoloka. So this is a nice understanding, because we have lokas, which means regions, realms that are incorporeal many times, right? They're not physical, they're not tangible, they're not the earth plane. Okay, adoloka. So there's lokas, which implies astral. Lokas, like the lokas of the east, is the astral planes of the west. Right? Because we have astral planes, we have astral lokas. That's what I call them, astral lokas. Okay. Adoloka, we're going to see this term loka. Keep in mind it has this ak in it. Who remembers ak codes? Right? The whole watcher forms. Right? A lot of our watcher deities are ox. They're Enochs, they're Molochs, they're Zadokites, they're ox. Adoloka. Keep in mind that's a D, and this letter right here with that going to the left. And then this right here going to the left. Those are O's. Adoloka, the region where the denizens of hell reside, the lower world. So the Adolokas is a lower world, lower realms, the inferior regions, the infernal regions, the denizens of hell. Okay, those are Adoloka. Adonaya Makasakti. Adonai has this Adonai in it. That's interesting. That's coming from the Middle East. Adonaya Makasakti. That's a sh sound right in there. Okay. Adonaya Makashakti. The power of impurity of ignorance. Anava. The impurity of ignorance, anava, which misdirects the soul and leads it to degrade itself, the power which deludes the soul. Advan, evolution, way, time, course, or path, level of manifestation. The 6 ways that God Siva is declared to be connected to the soul in Seva Siddhanta. There are mystic formula mantra letters, Vardhana, words, Pada, world, Bhuvana, Sanskrit for world, Bhuvana. You got it in Gayatri mantra. You got Bhu, Bhuva, Suva. You got world Bhuvana. Tat Sarvatar Varnayam, right? So that's that. Bhu, Bhuva, Bhuva, Suva, right? That's Bhuva. So that's Sanskrit for world. Categories Tattva. Categories are Tattva. You got a mantra, Gayatri mantra, for example, mystic formula, mantra, letters, Vardhana, words, Pada, world, Bhuvana, categories, Tattva, and the constrictors, Kala. These 6 ways help the soul experience and attain the Lord. The Lord takes form on the basis of these 6 and gives results to the soul according to its aspiration. According to Kashmir Saivism, the whole universe, in both its subjective and objective aspects, is a manifestation or proliferation of Sakti or subtle sound, Pardavak, in 6 forms, Saradva. The 6 roots or courses they are on the subjective side, Vardhana, Mantra, and Pada. What's Pada? Words. Words in Sanskrit is Pada. Letters is Vardhana. World is Bhuvana. Categories is Tattva. God is Siva. God is Siva. Or Isvarda. That's another Sanskrit term for God. Isvarda. Isvarda. Siva, Isvarda. According to Kashmir, say that they are on the subjective side, Tattva, Kala Tattva, and Bhuvana, Sanskrit for world, Bhuvana, Bhuvana. Advarda is a sacrifice, Advara, Advarda. Advaryu, Advaryu. So that's a Y with the R on top of it, ending in a U. Advaryu, Advaryu, chief priest of the sacrifice who lays out the measure of the ritual. Any officiating priest in a Vedic sacrifice specifically refers to the adherents of the AYURVEDA who are responsible for ritual action. Also refers to priests of a particular class as distinguished from the Hotri, Udgatri, and Brahma, who had to measure the ground of the sacrifice, build altar, prepare the sacrificial vessels, fetch wood and water, and bring the animal and immolate it. There's certain sects coming out of Indus Valley that never harm animals, right? But there's a lot of other religions that condone it, right? Adyaksa, so that letter right there is a K and a S combined, D and a Y combined. Adyaksa, perceptible to the senses and observable. Adyaropa. Once again, that letter going up to the left like that. Ady, Adyaropa. Superimposition, incorrect attribution, erroneous knowledge. Adyaropapavada. Adyaropapavada. The method or theory of prior superimposition and subsequent denial. By this method, one first superimposes illusory attributes on an attributeless entity and then subsequently denies or removes them. This technique is used by Advaita Vedanta to lead an aspirant to the knowledge of the non-dual self, Atman. That's a divine self, the Atman, like the higher self, kind of non-localistic in a way. Adyaropapavada, Adyaropapavada. Adyasa, superimposition, illusion, false attribution. The imposition of a thing on what is not that thing, atasmims, tadabuddhi. It is of 2 kinds, Svarupa Adyasa and Samsarga Adyasa. The former consists in superimposing an illusory, mithya, kind of like myth, like a myth, something that's might be, illusory, right? Superimposing an illusory, mithya. Illusory, Sanskrit for illusory is mithya. Object on something real. Superimposing an illusory snake on a real rope, which is an example of an ordinary error, or of superimposing ignorance, avidya, and the empirical world upon the absolute, Brahman, which is an example of a foundational error. Samsarga Adyasa is a superimposition of an attribute on an object. This relation is false mithya to superimpose redness upon a crystal which is in the immediate physical proximity of a red object. It may also be divided into artha adhyasa, the superimposition of an object upon a substratum, and jnana adhyasa, superimposition of the knowledge of the former upon the knowledge of the latter. A third division of adhyasa, dharma adhyasa, superimposition of objects, and dharma adhyasa, superimposition of attributes. Adhyasa, illusion. Adhyasa, adhyasa. Adhyasa basya, adhyasa basya. Commentary on superimposition. I think that's what that was. A commentary on the superimposition. Sankaracharya's famous introductory part of his commentary on the Brahma Sutra, which precedes the commentary on the text itself. Adhyasamasya. Adhyasamasya, commentary on superimposition. Adhyatma. Adhyatma, personal, not individual, of the Supreme Self, supreme spiritual pertaining to the Self. Adhyatma. Adhyatma Vida. Adhyatma Vidya, metaphysics, study of the Self. Adhyatma Vidya. Adhyatmika, I don't know what that looks like right there, right? What's that look like? Adhyatmidya. I don't know. I wouldn't have known that. Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika, internal, intrinsic, spiritual, pertaining to the self. According to Sankhya, one of the three types of sorrows. Sankhya, it's one of the three types of sorrows. These are miseries caused by intrinsic influence, bodily and mental, such as the presence of bile or phlegm or desire or anger. They are generally generated internally by illness of the body or by unsatisfied passions of the mind. Adhyavasaya. Adhyavasaya, affirmative process, conviction, determinative, cognition, apprehension. Adhyavasaya. Adhyavasaya. Adhyaya. Adhyaya, chapter, section. Adhyaya. Adhyayana. Adhyayana, learning, study, lecture. Adhyayana, learning, study, lecture. Adi, first, origin, beginning, original. Adinatha. Adinatha, first or primal Lord, a name for Lord Shiva, both as the great God and as the first spiritual teacher, Guru, or perfect master, Siddha. Adinatha, name for Shiva. Adinatha, first or primal Lord, the name for the spiritual lineage of the Goraknath school of the Natha Sampradaya. Adinatha, Adinatha. Adishesa. Adishesa, first or primal remainer, the primeval serpent, the thousand-headed serpent upon which Lord Vishnu reclines. He remains after the destruction of the universe. Adisesha. Aditi, boundless or unbounded, infinite mother. Aditi means to not, diti, limit, to decay or perish. She is the source of all the cosmic forms of consciousness from the physical upwards. She is the source of all cosmic forms of consciousness from the physical upwards. Aditi, Aditi. D connected to an I, T connected to an I. Aditi, Aditya. Aditya, so that's a T and a Y. Aditya, the sun god. Aditya, sun gods. Aditya, Aditya. Adivasi, Adivasi, original inhabitants, named denoting the tribals in India. Adivasi, Adivasi. Adivasi, original inhabitants, denoting the tribals in India, indigenous India. Right? Adivasi, Adivasi, Adravya, Adravya, non-substance. One of the two main categories of Visadvaita Vedanta has 10 members: the qualities of purity, activity, inertia, the attributes of sound, sight, form, taste, smell, conjunction, and power. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Samyoga, and Sakti. They are all considered as attributes and always dependent upon substances. Dravya, they are that which inheres in a substance. Adarsta, Adarsta. So that's AD connected to R, that's an S and a T, ends in A. Adarsta, unseen potency, destiny, influence, invisible fate. It is generated by actions for helping to bring about their respective fruits in a hereafter. The unknown quality of things, which arranges for later experiences in accordance with merits and demerits. The unseen power of one's past good and bad deeds. It is also apurva, According to Vaisheshika, it is the cause of the world process. Adarsta karana, an unknown cause. Adarsta phala, that's a P right there. It's like the opposite of a K, right? See how that's a K right there? Opposite of that, and you move it up a little bit. Okay, that's like a PH right there. That's an F. Adrastafala. Adrastafala. A lot of times A's are in between these, but you don't see them. Adrastafala. Unseen fruit. The result of Vedic actions are said to be imperceptible and to manifest at a future time. Adrastarta. 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 So this little mark right here. That's a D, that's a R. That's a ST, same as this one. ST. Other star, that's a R. Other star tha, that's a TH with an R on top of it. Other star tha. Imperceptible result. Super sensuous. Trans-empirical. Adarsya, invisible. Advaita. So they're saying that this is an A, that's a D in the middle, that's like an A, kind of A, right? And that's actually that little circle at the bottom makes it a V. So Advaita, non-dualism, non-duality, not two. Advaita, a term used to indicate a position of non-duality adopted by various Indian schools of thought. Advaita Vedanta adopts the position of absolute non-duality, while all others of the term accept internal distinctions within their various types of monisms. Thus, in its latter usages, it signifies the interconnectedness of everything which is dependent upon the non-dual one transcendent reality. Advaita Vedanta is commonly referred as Advaita because it was the first and perhaps the greatest exponent of this idea. It is one of the 6 orthodox Astika, Sanskrit for orthodox, schools of Indian philosophy and the first school of Vedanta philosophy. It has no individual founder, for its roots are to be found in the Vedas and particularly the Upanishads, though its greatest exponent is Sankaracharya Bhagavad-pada. Its central teaching is the oneness of the individual soul, Jiva, with the absolute Brahman. It affirms the non-duality of Brahman, the non-reality of the empirical world, and a non-difference between the individual soul and Brahman, Brahma, Satyam, Jagan, Mithya. Jivo Brahmeva Napara. Its basic source books are the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutra. See Prasthanatraya. The key concept in Advaita Vedanta is ignorance. Avidya, right? And you got this term Maya, right? That's a very ancient Sanskrit term called Maya. It means ignorance, avidya, right? Connected to karma, believe it or not. The key concept in Advaita Vedanta is ignorance, avidya Maya. Avidya/Maya. This explains otherwise perplexing distinction between the formless Nirguna and the having form Saguna Brahman, between a non-dual reality appearing as individuals and as God, Isvara. So that's a good term for God in Sanskrit, Isvara. We said that before. It's connected, like same understanding of Siva, but it's Isvara. It accounts for Advaita's metaphysics, epistemology, and ethics. Advaya, so that's a D with a V, little circle. Advaya, oneness, unique. Advayam, ajatam. Advayam, ajatam, so that's a J. Advayam, Y-M-J, A-T-M-A. Advayam jatam. Advayam jatam. That line right there might signify that it doesn't end in A. Okay? Advayam jatam. Because if that line wasn't there, it would end in A, right? Advayam jatam. Not a one, non-coming into being, the birthless, non-dual reality. Advayata, oneness, secondless. Advayata, Advayata, Avitaya, Advitaya, okay? Advitaya, without a second. Adya, so the eyes, there's a D and a V connected to an I. That's a T connected to an I on the other side, though, of the letter. E, Advitiya, Advitiya, without a second. Adyavasta, Adya. Okay, so this is a D and a Y. Adyavasta. Remember, this is a D and a Y. Okay. Adyavasta. First state, initial manifestation. A technical term in Yadava's cosmology. Agama. Agma. Agama. A scripture. What has come down from traditions, canonical literature, source, beginning, that which has come down from the verb root gam, to go, gam, to go, the presupposition a equals toward, divinely revealed scripture, which has been handed down from teacher to pupil through the ages, a scripture in which creation, destruction, worship of deities, repetition of mantras, and accomplishment, means of attaining the sixfold desires, forms of meditation. 4 kinds of yoga are described, is considered by the wise as agama. They are divided into 3 main branches according to the deity that is worshipped therein. Pancharatra and Vaikanasa agamas are the Vaisnava scriptures, which extol Vishnu. The Seva agamas extol Siva, and the Sakta agamas extol the goddess Devi. Goddess Devi. See Amaz Bhajans, you say Devi a lot. Sakta Tantras are enumerated as 64 and grouped into 2 kinds, Dakshina and Vama, or right and left hand. Vaisnava Tantras are subdivided into Vaikanasa and Pancharatra, those revealed by sage Vikanas to his disciples. Burgu, Marichi, Ati are Vaikanasa Tantras. Pancharatra agamas are threefold divya, or directly revealed by Lord Narayana. Munibasita, or those handed over to the sages, such as Bharadvaja Samhita, Paramesvara Samhita, etc. Atamanu Japrokta, or those written by men whose word is trustworthy. Seva agamas are 4-fold: Kapala, Kalamuka, Pasupata, and Seva. Traditionally, 28 Seva agamas are recognized as forming the revealed canon, though hundreds of these scriptures are spoken of. Kamika, Yogaja, Chintya, Karana, Ajita, Dipta, Sukshma, right? Suksham is Hindi for subtle, right? Sukshma, Sahasra, Amsuma, Suprabeda, Abeda, see Abeda a lot, Suprabeda, Vijaya, Nisvasa, Svayambhuva, Bhuva, connects to world, right? Svayambhuva, Anala, Verda, Radava, Makuta, Vamala, Chandrajnana, what's jnana again? Intelligence, something like that. Jnana. Mukha Bimba, Projita, Lalita, Siddha, Santana, Sarvokta, Paramasvara. I see this something like this around. Paramasvara, it's like a name. A lot of times people are named Paramasar or something. Paramasvara, Kardana, and Vatula. And Agama deals with 4 topics: temple construction, making idols, etc., philosophical doctrines, meditative practices, and methods of worship. Kriya, Jnana, Yoga, and Charya. Philosophical doctrines, Kriya, meditative practices, Jnana, methods of worship, Yoga, and Charya. These are divided into 3 divisions: Tantra, which teaches rituals; Mantra, which teaches the yoga stage of worship; and Upadesha, which expounds the existence of and nature of the 3 eternal deities, individual souls, bonds, and God. Pashu, Pasa, and Pati.
Traditionally, 28 agamas are recognized as forming the revealed canon, though hundreds of these scriptures are spoken of. Agama bhayi, that which appears and which disappears. Agama bhayi, agami, karma yet to come. Agami, agastya, a sage, rishi, like a rishi. So that's RSI. That's a rishi, R-I-S-H-I is what they're saying there. Rishi, Agastya, a sage, and a reputed seer of many hymns in the Rig Veda, mountain thrower. Along with Vasistha, he was the offspring of Mitra and Varuna. When their seed fell at the site of Urdvasi, reputedly he was born in a water jar. His name derives from a legend that he commanded the Vindhya mountains to prostrate him. He reputedly fashioned a girl out of the most graceful parts of various animals and then married her, so as to remove a curse on his ancestors. Her name was Lopamudra. He befriended Rama and Lakshmana in the Ramayana. In South India, he is held in great veneration as the first teacher of science and literature, as the originator of the Tamil language, and as first among Siddhas, perfected ones possessing miraculous powers. Agastya, originator of the Tamil language. Agastya, originator of the Tamil language, and as the first among Siddhas, perfected ones possessing miraculous powers. Agastya. Founded the Tamil language. Agastya, that's Dravidian. Tamil Nadu, Tamilians, that's Dravidian. Agati karma, non-obstructive karmas. According to Jainism, non-obstructive actions, karma, are of four types, which determine the length of life in any given birth, ayus, the particular body with its general and special qualities and faculties, nama, the nationality, caste, family, gatra, and the inborn energy of the soul by the obstruction of antaraya, of which it prevents the doing of a good action where there is a desire to do it. There are actions which generate embodiment and the particular conditions thereof. Agati gatana. That letter right there is a G. That's A. Agati. That's a T. I. Agati. That's another T right next to it. Agati tagatana. Agati tagatana. Agati tagatana. Accomplishment of the unaccomplished. Traversing uncharted terrain. Accomplishing the unaccomplished. Praptasya prapti. Agati tagatana. Agati tagatana. Agati tagatana. Agorda. That's a O once again. That's a G. If there was an opening there, it'd be a D. Agorda. Horrible, non-terrifying, benevolent power. Name of a Saivite sect, the merciful Siva. A name for Lord Siva meaning light. Agorda. Absence of darkness or ignorance, one of a series of special manifestations of Lord Siva. So, Agorda. Name for Lord Siva means light, horrible, non-terrifying, benevolent power. Name of a Saivite sect. Also, a Saivite sect. Siva, Saivites. Agorda. Agni, fire god, fire Vedic god. Agni. Connect a little bit to our term igneous, right? We got igneous rock, which fucking forms from like volcanic eruptions. Okay, then when it dries out, you can get igneous rock. Right, same word which says Agni. Fire is of 5 kinds: the fire of time, Kala Agni; the fire of hunger, Kasuda Agni; the cold fire, Sita Agni; and fire of anger, Kopa Agni; and the fire of knowledge, Jnana Agni. These 5 fires reside respectively in the feet, navel, stomach, eye, and heart. In the Hindus, throughout their ritual, there are 3 types of fire: the householder's fire, Garha Patya; the fire to be offered into, Ahavanaya; and the southern fire, Dakshina. In order to perform throughout the rites, one must establish these 3 fires. In the Vedas, Agni appears in 3 phases: in heaven as the sun, in mid-air as lightning and on earth as ordinary fire. In the Vedas, Agni was one of the chief deities, with more hymns addressed to him than any other god. According to some, Agni is the divine will and or the sacred spark of divinity within an individual, and or fire per se, the priest god and the great effulgence of God, and or Ganesha Subramanyam. He is considered the mediator between human beings and the gods, as well as their protector and witness to their actions. Agni. Agni Chayana. Agni Chayana. The piling of Agni. Piling of the fire altar. One of the most elaborate Vedic rituals. A large altar in the shape of a bird is piled up from more than 1,000 bricks in 5 layers. The ritual lasts 12 days and is an optional Kamya ritual. It is a special preparation of an altar for Soma sacrifices. Agnihotra. Agnihotra. Okay, so this is the TR I was talking about, that they were pronouncing as N. Okay. This is a TR sound. When you see this right here, that's a tra, tra. Agnihotra. Fire offering, a Vedic fire sacrifice, the name of an obligatory rite enjoined on all twice-born persons daily, so long as they live. It is a twice-daily offering of milk products into the sacred sacrificial fire. The simplest Vedic Srauta ritual consists of an oblation of milk offered every morning and evening by a householder with the optional assistance of a priest. It is an obligatory Sanskrit as Nitya ritual. Nitya, Sanskrit for obligatory. Agni Stoma, Agni Stoma. Praise of Agni, fire sacrifice, 5-day Vedic ritual, the most basic form of Soma sacrifice. Praise of Agni. Agni Stoma, Agni Stoma. Agra, foremost chief. Agra. Agraha, agraha, non-cognition, non-perception. Agraha, agraha, anger. Agraha, agraha, anger. Agrahana, non-apprehension, not knowing the truth. Agrahana, agrahana. According to Advaita Vedanta, it is an aspect of ignorance, agrahana, which remains even in a deep sleep state. even when they're asleep, they're ignorant. Wow. Though in a latent form. Latent means like dormant, latent form. This explains how deep sleep differs from liberation. Non-apprehension is negative, abhava, and what is negative cannot be the cause of anything according to Advaita Vedanta. Even when these motherfuckers asleep, they fucking dumb as rocks. They ignorant, they stupid. Even when they sleep. See this shit? According to Advaita Vedanta, is an aspect of ignorance which remains even in the deep sleep state, though in a latent form. This explains how deep sleep differs from liberation. Non-apprehension is negative, abhava, and what is negative cannot be the cause of anything according to Advaita Vedanta. Agrahyam, agrahyam, ungraspable, not understandable. Agrahyam, ahalya, ahalya, beautiful, not ugly. From na, and halya, ugly. Halya, Sanskrit for ugly. So Ahalya is beautiful, the wife of the sage Gautama. Gautama, his wife is Ahalya. Because of infidelity, she was turned to stone by her husband's curse, but recovered her human form when touched by Lord Rama's foot. Her story is told in the Ramayana. Aham is the I awareness, the notion of the ego. Aham, the individual soul, the self-consciousness, pure inner self. There are said to be 2 eyes. The lower self or egotistical individual and the higher self or pure Suddha self. According to Kashmir Saivism, it points to the free and self-illuminating consciousness that resides in the heart. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the absolute Brahman. A great saying, Mahavakya, Sanskrit for saying. Sanskrit for saying is Mahavakya, conveying the wisdom of the Upanishads, which occurs in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad of the Yajurveda. Mahavakya, saying. Vimarsha, pure I consciousness, ahankara, egoism, the concept of individuality, I-ness, ahankara, kr is action, aham is I, ahankara. In evolutionary process, ahankara is said to evolve from the intellect, buddhi. Sanskrit for intellect is buddhi, and give evolution to the senses. Indraya, Sanskrit for senses is indraya, and the subtle essence of the elements, tan matra and turn. Its functions is self-assertion. It is an aspect of the inner organ, Antakarana, and it has the three aspects of Vaikarika or Sattva, Taijasa or Rajas, and Bhutari or Tamas, Ahara, food, which is brought near, to bring near, Ahara, Aharya, adventitious, Aharya, adventitious. Aharyaropa, adventitious assumption, Aharyaropa, Aharya Sanka, adventitious doubt, Ahavanaya, to be offered into, one of the three fires that is throughout the ritual, and the one into which the oblations are poured. Ahimsa, non-injury, non-violence, from the verb root hims, to injure. Ahimsa, the prefix a equals not. One of the great vows, Mahavrata of the Jainas, it is the law of compassion in body, mind, and spirit. Negatively, it means refraining from causing any injury, ahimsa. And positively, it stands from the practice of love towards all living beings. It is the first and most important of the abstentions, yama of the yoga system. It is the cardinal virtue upon which all others depend. It is the law of compassion in body, mind, and spirit. Ahita, improper, not propitious. Ahrika, shamelessness. Iksata, to see, saw, thought, desired. Aikya, oneness. I don't know what letter that is. I've never seen that before. Aikya samandhikaranya. Aikya samanadhikaranya. Grammatical coordination in the sense of oneness. In the sense, this is a cow. The word this refers to an individual object, and the word cow refers to the generic attribute of cowness. In this example, the two words are equated due to their being in grammatical coordination to each other. Airadvata, child of the water, the white elephant produced at the churning of the ocean and given to Indra. Aisvarya, dominion, power, lordship, divine glory, majesty, splendor, an attribute of God, Isvarya, or any theistic deity. Aisvarya. Atihya, tradition, historical evidence, rumor. A traditional belief or beliefs which have been handed down from generation to generation. One of the means of valid knowledge, pramana, according to the Paudanikas. Aja, unborn, unproduced, birthless. Goat, a goat is an aja. Ajada, immaterial, non-material. According to Visadvaita Vedanta, immaterial substance is of two kinds, external pradak and internal pratyad. The external is of two kinds, eternal manifestation, nitya vibhuti, and attributive consciousness, dharma bhuta jnana. The internal is also of two kinds, individual self, jiva, and God, Isvarta. Ajahal laksana, non-exclusive implication. When the primary meaning of a sentence is not adequate to convey a coherent idea, then the secondary meaning is resorted to. In this case, the primary meaning is not totally rejected, but is retained and added to by the implied meaning. The red runs means that the red horse runs. The primary meaning of red is retained and clarified by adding to it the implied meaning, namely horse. Ajamila, name of a person rescued by God's grace. A Brahmin who fell from his life of pure conduct when he was aroused by passion for a woman, but by invoking the name of God as the time of his death, he was redeemed and was taken to heaven by messages of Vishnu. His life is an example that even the most wicked person can attain liberation by God's grace. Ajamila, name of a person rescued by God's grace. Ajamila. Ajapa Japa, Ajapa Japa, the natural mantra of the breath, natural repetition, the natural involuntary and effortless repetition of the mantra that goes on within every living creature in the form of the incoming and outgoing breath, repetitive prayer, also known as Hamsa. Ajapa Japa, the natural mantra of the breath. Ajapa Japa, Ajapa Japa. Ajati, non-origination, birthless, a term employed by both Gaudapada and the Madhyamika school of Buddhism to mean that nothing is born and nothing dies, though for different reasons. It says that the world and the individual are not there, have not been born, and will not die. Nothing is real from an ultimate standpoint. Ajativada, the theory of non-origination. The Advaita Vedanta theory, especially associated with Gaudapada, which denies any causal change, that which is non-existent in the beginning and non-existent at the end is also non-existent in the beginning and therefore completely non-existent. Okay, that makes sense, right? Ajativada, Ajiva, non-soul, which is inert or non-conscious, insentient. One of the two principles which constitute reality according to Jainism. It is comprised of 5 categories: matter, Pudgala. Sanskrit for matter is Pudgala. Medium of motion is Dharma. Medium of rest is Adharma. Space is Akasha, and right, Akasha. You got the Akashic records, right? Edgar Casey writes about the Akashic records. Got the Akasa, right? That's a very interesting Sanskrit term right there. Akasa. That's that Akashic, the Akashic records, right? Look up Akasa and then records in Google. Akashic records. You know, that's like the cosmic library, right? Of all the data of the universe or something, you know what I mean? And like in the Akashic records, we have the whole data of all our lifetimes, for example. That's like our Akasa, our Akashic records. And time Kala, right? Time Kala, right? Like we have the Kali Yuga, right? That's the time we're in right now, right? Kala. Ajna Chakra. Ajna. So that's one of our chakras. Okay, we got the whole chakra system. Okay. One of the chakras is Ajna Chakra. That's the term right there, chakra. The lotus of command wheel. One of the subtle centers of energy located along the spinal column. You have the whole Kundalini system, right? You have the whole chakra system. Okay. That's another story. Located along the spinal column, that's like the energetic force field of the human body, right? The spiritual center located between the eyebrows. So this is the third eye they're talking about. Ajna Chakra is the third eye. The awakened Kundalini passes, right, Kundalini, through this nerve plexus chakra only by the command Ajna of the Guru, and for this reason it is also known as the Guru Chakra. When spiritual initiation Saktipata is given, the Guru often touches the seeker at the spot. So I'm talking about the third eye chakra. Ajnana, ignorance, nescience, from the verb jna, to know. Jna, to know, right? So jnana is like knowledge. So ajnana is ignorance, right? One of the 5 types of delusion. Mithyatva. Sanskrit for delusion. Mithyatva. According to Jainism. According to Advaita Vedanta, it is defined as beginningless, anadi, positive, bhava-rupa, removable by right knowledge, jnana nivartya, having its locus either in the absolute Brahman or in the individual jiva, having the 2 powers of concealment, avarana, and projection, vikshepa, and indeterminable, anurvachanaya. See Anidva and Maya, primal limitation, Mala, according to Saivism. Mala. You know, Mala is the whole word which is Mala, malign, right? Sanskrit for impure. Mala, Sanskrit for impure, right? Mala is Spanish for bad, right? Mala. It's where we get malign, malignant, right? This whole mal, right? You got animals, you got malak, which means angel. You got males, females, right? The whole family, right? Everything is mal in it, right? The whole male, mal thing. Primal limitation, mala, according to, and then you have mula, which is root, right? The root of nature is mula prakriti, right? Primal limitation, mala, according to Saivism. Ajnana Vada, agnosticism, the theory of disbelief, saying that God doesn't exist or something, right? Ajnana Vada, so ignorance, right? What's that? Ajnana is ignorance, right? Ajnana Vada, Vada, Ajnana, Ajnana Vada, Ajna Chakra, Ajiva, Ajati Vida, okay. Ajnata, Ajnapana, so this is a J kind of noise right here. These letters right here. That's a J too. Ajiva. That's another J. 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 Ajnanavada. Ajnanavada. That's a V. NVD. Ajnana. Vada. Ajnata. Ajnapana. Ajnata. Ajnapana. Actually, it's a J and an N combined, is what it is. Ajnana. Ajnana Vada, Ajnata, Ajnapana, Ajnata, Ajnapana, Ajnata, Ajnapana, Ajnata, Ajnapana. Knowing what is not otherwise known, the unknown becomes unknown, becoming known. Knowing what is not otherwise known. Akala, without parts, an attribute of the divine being. Akala. Akalpita, Akalpita, unimagined. Akalpita, Aklipita, Akalpita, Akal, that L and a P is connected to an I, right? Akalpita, Akama, desireless, passionless. Akanksha, expectancy, mutual affinity between words, syntax, one of the material conditions or causes which brings about a valid cognition from a proposition. Words must be compatible in order to fulfill this condition. A mere string of words such as man, horse, dog, cow does not produce a valid sentence. Asati, yogyata, tatparya. Akarda, form category. Akaraja, mineral, one of the four kinds of fire. Tejas. Akaraja Banda. Limitation by form. Akarma Karta, non-karmically made, according to Visadvaita Vedanta, those bodies which are non-eternal and non-karmically made. These include the forms of God Isvarta, such as the great Mahat, and the forms of divine incarnations, Avatarta, assumed at their will, Sankalpa. Forms of divine incarnations, Avatarta. You got divine avatars, right? Avatarta, that's a really good Sanskrit term. Avatarta. Divine incarnations, right? We have all these different versions of ourselves incarnating, right? But we have divine avatars. We're divine avatars. We got Bodhisattvas, we got higher level angelic versions of ourselves, right? We can awaken these higher level angelic versions of ourselves. Avatarta. These include forms of God, Isvarta, and the great Mahat, non-karmically made, Akarmakarta, and the forms of divine incarnations, Avatarta, assumed at their will, Sankalpa. Sankalpa would be will. Avatarta, Akartar. Akartar, not agent, doerless, from a, not the verb, kur, to do. Akasha, that's a good term. Akasha, okay, not visible, okay, once again,
incorporeal, right? Ether, that's a really good term too. Ether, you got the etheric planes. This breaks down to nether regions, etheric. You got nature coming from these word roots as well. You got etheric planes. You got the etheric body. You got neters, Egyptian for God. Neters, Egyptian for gods. You got etheric realms, ethereality. Okay. You get neters, you get nature. You got the etheric world, the Chaldean cosmogonical system ruled by Hekati. You get etheric, connected to the astral, right? That's why akasa means not visible, as in lokas. Remember those astral lokas, right? Not visible, ether, space, inner sky, sky, room, any type of space, physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual. Akasa, space. The subtlest of the five physical elements, which gives rise to the other four elements, which has the attribute of all pervasiveness. And it denotes any type of space, physical, mental, intellectual, and or spiritual, also known as the inner mind or consciousness of an individual. Panchabhuta Mahabhuta. In Buddhism, one of the three Samskrita dharmas, it is held to be a permanent, omnipresent, immaterial substance. Its essence is free from obstruction. Samskrita dharma. In Jainism, it is an all-pervasive, subtle existent substance which provides the ground for all other substances to exist. It is divided into space occupied by things. Lokakasa, and or the space beyond the void. Alokakasa. According to Nyaya Vaisheshika, once again, those lokas. Space beyond the void, alokakasa. According to Nyaya Vaisheshika, it is what is inferred as the internal and all-pervasive substratum in which sound adheres. According to Sankhya and Advaita Vedanta, it's one of the five elements which are produced and destroyed. According to Sautrantika, it is the same as the ultimate atom, since both are no more than notions. Akevalatva, manifoldness, multiplicity. Akevalatva, Akanda. That's a D. Right there, that S thing, that's a D. That's a K, that's an N. Akanda, invisible, indivisible, whole, undivided. Khanda means to break in Sanskrit. Khanda means to break. Akhanda means unbreakable. Akhanda desha, indivisible space. Akhanda kala, impartite time. Kala means time. Indivisible time. It is held to be eternal and all pervasive. Kala. Akhandakara vritti jnana. Akhandakara vritti jnana. The moral cognition through which the absolute Brahman is apprehended, direct knowledge of the self, Atman, in Advaita Vedanta. This is knowledge which arises through mental mode, the object of which is the impartite absolute Brahman. This modification, vritti, is called the ultimate modification, antya vritti. It destroys every other vritti, giving rise to the direct perception of reality, sak, sat, kaira, and then it also perishes, leaving only the reality. Akhandartha, impartite, parlous, identity. Akhandartha vakya, identity statement. A sentence where the subject and a predicate refer to the same entity. Each word has its own meaning, and yet both of them refer to one entity. That thou art, Tadvan Asi. This is the Devadatta. Soyam Devadatta. According to Advaita Vedanta, it is a literal expression of the non-dual reality. This Advaita Vedanta holds that the grammar of knowledge is the grammar of reality, and thus, unlike Advaita Vedanta, it posits that identity statements indicate a qualified reality. Akando Padi. Akando Padi. Akndopadi. Akandopadi. An attribute which is not a generic or class attribute, but which is similar to it. Akila. Undivided, complete, whole. Akyana Bhaga.
Akhyana Baga, narrative part of a sacred text. Akyata, verbal suffix. Akyati, Akyati, non-apprehension, non-perception, non-cognition. Akyati Vada, theory of non-apprehension. The theory of error of the Sankhya and the Prabhakara Mamansa schools. Error is conceived as a case of omission or non-observation. When an individual mistakes a snake for a rope and makes a judgment, this is a snake, the error lies in a non-apprehension of the non-relation between the perceived this and the remembered snake. There is no error in respect of the object which is seen, nor in respect of the snake remembered. The error is one's failure to realize that they are non-related as subject and predicate. Thus, error is due to incomplete knowledge and arises from misdiscrimination. Non-discrimination rises from non-discrimination. Akinchanatva, absolute want, meekness. Akinchanatva, akinchanya, sensitive meekness. Akamahadevi, female Saivite saint. Akamahadevi, also known as Mahadevi Aka. She was an ecstatic poet saint of South India. In her short life, she composed many devotional songs, many devotional poems, vachanas, in the Kannada language. Kannada, that's like maybe more southwest India, Kannada. Then you got Tamil, and you got Kannada. Kind of next to each other. These poems are often addressed to Siva as Channa Mallikarjuna, the Lord white as jasmine. Akamahadeva, Akamahadevi, Akamahadevi, Devi. Aklista, a female Saivite saint. Aklista, not afflicted, unmoved from not. Klis, afflicted, klis. So you got these kleshas, aklista, non-afflicted. Klis, afflicted. Sanskrit for afflicted is klis. Kleshas is afflictions. Klesha is an affliction. Kleshas is afflictions. Klis, afflicted. According to the yoga school, state of mind which leads one toward liberation. Aklista. Akrama, non-happening successively, happening at once. Akroda, absence of anger, angerless. Akurti, form, uncreated, the eternal principle underlying words. Akurti, Aksa, pertaining to the senses. Aksapada, name of Gautama, author of Nyaya Sutras. Aksara, imperishable, indestructive, immutable, undying. Ksi, to destroy, perish. Ksi, that KS right there. Ksi, to destroy, perish. Aksara, name for the word Om. Aksaya, undecaying, everlasting. Aksepa. This letters a K and a S combined. Aksepa, objection. Akula, Aksaya, undecaying, everlasting. Aksepa, objection. Akula, without form, a name for Siva, formless. Akula. Akula, without form. Akunchana, contraction, one of the 5 types of action. Akunchana. Akuta, idea, intention. Alaba, lust. Alaksana, indefinable. Alaksana, indefinable, without any sign or mark. Alambana, supporting instrument, medium. Lam, to hand down. Alambana. Alandi, town in Maharashtra. Alandi, birthplace of Jnaneshwar Maharaj and the place of his Samadhi shrine. Alandi. Alankara, alankara, ornamentation, rhetoric. The science of poetry is alankara. We all know about poetry over here, right? Alankara, alasya, alasya, idleness or apathy, sloth, laziness. One of the obstacles to yoga is alasya. One of the obstacles to yoga is idleness, apathy, sloth, laziness. Alasya, alasya. Alata chakra, fire brand circle. Chakra circle, right? Alata santi. Quenching of the firebrand, santi. It's kind of like peace, I think, right? Santi, like salam, right? Santi. Title of chapter 4 of the Mandukya Karika, in which Gaudapada explains the illusoriness of the phenomenal world by comparing it to the illusory designs produced by the waving of a firebrand. Alaukika, transcendental supernormal. Alaukika Mukya Visesyata. Alaukika Mukya Visesyata, supernormal principle, substantiveness, or particular. Alaukika Sakshatkara. Alaukika Sakshatkara. Supernormal immediate apprehension. Alaukika Sakshatkara. Alaukika Sanikarsa. Alaukika Sanikarsa. Supernormal contact. There are three types. Samanya Laksana. One is generic nature of the individual is perceived. Jnana Laksana. Something is seen and its invisible qualities are also perceived. Yogaja. Yogic intuition. Alaukika Sanikarsha. Alaukika Sanikarsha. Supernormal contact. Like communicating, maybe, with angelic beings, maybe. Something is seen and its invisible qualities are also perceived. Supernormal contact. Alaukika Vishayata. Alaukita Visayata. Supernormal objectness. Alaukika Visayata. Alaukika Visayata. Alaya, indissoluble, imperishable, unending. Alaya, storehouse, receptacle. Alaya Vijnana. Alaya Vijnana. Store conscious, repository of everything. Term used in Yogacara Buddhism to indicate the storehouse consciousness. Yogacharims posit a reality of nothing by ideas, consciousness, Vijnana, and this storehouse is the carrier of all latent potencies and the receptacle for all accumulating tendencies. It can also mean the transcendent and eternal reality that is the absolute consciousness. Thus, depending upon one's perspective, it is either the continually changing stream of consciousness or the absolute being itself, as it always changing, dynamic, and a continuum that is one and homogeneous. It is unanalyzable by the faculty of reasoning. Alinga, without any characteristic or mark, sometimes used in reference to one perspective of the Sankhyan nature, prakriti, in which no characteristic may be affirmed of it. Alama Prabhu, Saivite saint, a great Saivite saint of South India, also known as Prabhudeva. He presided over a group of Vardaseva saints who completely rejected formal ritual. He composed many beautiful vachanas in the Kannada language. Aloba, disinterestedness, not greedy. Aloba, disinterestedness. Alochana, bare awareness, simple perception, non-determinate cognition, critical self-examination. Alochana jnana, sense cognition, cognition of bare awareness. Aloka, the transcendent region of liberated souls according to Jainism. Loka. Alvar, one who has taken a deep plunge into the ocean of divinity. South Indian Vaisnavite saints and the Bhagavata Purana. It said that the devotees of Lord Vishnu would appear in South Indian on the banks of rivers. This reference is to the 12 Alvars, who were wandering saints dedicated to spreading Vishnu's glory by songs. They propagated the path of devotion. Their compositions are collected in the Nalayara Divya Prabandha, the book of 4,000 divine stanzas. The 12 alvars are Periyalvar, Andal, Kula Sakara, Alvar, Tirumalisai, Alvavar, Tirupanalvar, Madurakavi, Alvar, Tirumangai, Alvar, and Namalvar, Buddha, Talvar, and Pay Alvar. Amala. So mala is impurity. There you go. Mala, Sanskrit for impurity. We said that before. The whole mala, all those word roots. Mala, Sanskrit for impurity. Mala is Spanish for bad, right? It's related to our understanding of maligned or maleficent, or malevolent, right? Or malignant, right? At least terms for the malevolent, all the whole mul is a very vast etymological source, right? Of all these different terms that span all these different dialects. Putting a in front of mala means pure now, right? Because a negates the term. Amala, impurity, pure. Mala, impurity. Amala, pure, immaculate, free from defects. Amarti, prohibition of animal sacrifice. That makes sense, right? Just go vegan, right? Herbs and shit. You know, I know Islam's coming around and fucking annoying you and stuff, but just try to, be vegan, Amarti, prohibition of animal sacrifice. Amarsha, passion, anger, and patience. Amatra, once again we have that TR letter. Amatra, modeless, the fourth, Taraya, right? Amavasya, one new moon, the 15th day of the lunar month. It is the day of the half moon, or the 15th tithi of the dark fortnight. Amba, mother. Amma, right? That's Amma, the fucking Amma's bhajans, okay? It's mother Amma. Amba. Let's put a B there though. Amba. The divine mother, beautiful form of Durga, one of the names for Parvati. Amba, form of laziness. Ambika, the mother, one of the names for Parvati, the wife of Agni. Ambika, the wife of Agni. Ambika, Ambitaba, Amitabha, immeasurable glory, from Amita, unmeasured, and Abba, splendor. Amitabha. Amnyaya, the Buddha of unmeasurable splendor. He is the Buddha of the three forms, the Dharmakaya, or absolute, the Sambhogakaya, or divine incarnation, and the Nirmanakaya, or historical Buddha. Amnyaya, tradition, scripture, lineage. Amosa Dharma, that which is not lost, preserved teachings. Amarta, not death, from the verb root murder, to die. Na, immortality, divine nectar, juice of divine light, ambrosia, mystical bliss, the nectar of immortality, the divine nectar which flows down from 1,000-petaled lotus. Sahasrara chakra, one has raised the kundalini. Amarta, not death. Sahasrara chakra, it's one of the other chakras. Sahasrara, elixir of immortality, which was the first atom to emerge from the ocean of milk when the gods and demons churned it. Amsa, part, component, limb, fragment. Amsa. A dot at the top of the A is a M and a nata S. Amsa. It is the God's given share. Sometimes it is said to be that which is obtained by luck, accident, spoils of war, windfall profits. It is the mysterious portion of sacrifice which goes to the gods. Amsavatara, minor incarnation of Vishnu. Amsavatara. Okay, well, it has Amsa in it, right? Part, component, limb, fragment. It is the God's given share. Sometimes said to be that which is obtained by luck, accident, spoils of war. Okay. Amsa, right? Then you have Avatara. You have Amsavatara. So you have Avatara in it, which implies once again the term incarnation of Vishnu. Amsavatara, Amsatraya, Amsatraya, the triple aspects. Amsatraya, they are the method, the means, and the end. I'm seen, whole. One of the 10 categories in Dvaita Vedanta is the neither the parts nor the relation of both. See Padartha, Amarta, Amarta. This Erta, Erta, right? You got Aryavarta, you got Nin Erta, right? You got Agartha, you understand, right? Erta, that's it. It's from the tongues of the east, right? Erta, Erta. Erta, formless, without form, void, subtle. Amarta. Anabhibhava, not being overcome. Anabhivyakta, potential, unmanifest. Anabhivyakta, anadigata, previously unacquired, original. Anadigata artha, which is not known. Anadyavasaya, want of define of knowledge. Indefinite correlation. Andyavasaya. Anadi, beginningless, eternal. According to Advaita Vedanta, 6 things are eternal. Brahma, absolute. Isvara, God. Jiva, individual. Avidya, ignorance. The difference between the Jiva and Isvara, in relation between pure consciousness and Avidya. Anagamin. Anagamin, never returner from an not. Agamin, one, coming. A Buddhist aspirant who was destroyed all the obstacles to perfection, nirvana. Such a one will never be born into the cycle of birth and death again. Anagata, future, not yet come into existence. Anahata, unbeaten, unstruck, continuous inner resonance. The heart center, the inner divine melody, Om, the 12-petaled lotus or subtle center of psychic energy, lying in the central channel. Susumna, nadi, right? This is the kind of roots of like suksham, susumna, nadi, or energy channels. Okay, related to the kundalini, related to the chakras. Lotus of the heart is the 4th plexus chakra. Nadis, left and right nadis. Okay, this is an interesting concept in Sanskrit. Okay, nadis, susumna, kind of related to the Hindu term suksham, which means subtle. All right, so these are like the subtle energy epicenters and meridians of the body, the nadis, left and right nadis. Okay, nadis. That's a really good term in Sanskrit, nadis. Once again, related to that kundalini and that chakra system. That subtle, suksham, susumna, energy, meridians, and centers of psychic energy. Okay, symbolized once again by the 12-petaled lotus. Okay, energy channels. Anahata nada, continuous sound, the inner divine melody, the unstruck sound heard in meditation. Anekantika hetu. Okay, that's interesting. You got an A, you got an N, that's an I. Those two coming up, that's an I. Anai kan, and a T connected to I. Anai kan T K H E T U. Anekantika hetu, non-absolute reason, the type of fallacy in inferential reasoning wherein the concomitance of the middle term hetu with the major term sadhya is non-absolute. Sound is eternal since it is an objective knowledge. Being an object of knowledge, it is found, present, and eternal as well as non-eternal things. Anekantikatva. Anekantikatva, inconclusive. Anaksara, without letters, non-alphabetic. Ananda, bliss, delight, a type of samadhi, in which the mind concentrates on the intellect, from the verb root nan, to rejoice. Anandamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, the sheath of bliss, the innermost of the five sheaths enveloping the self. Truly speaking, it is infinite, transcendent, and perfect, and not really a sheath according to some schools, but the very essence of the self. It is also known as the causal body, Karana Sartra, according to Advaita Vedanta. Ananda Sakti, the power of absolute bliss. Ananda Taratmya, Ananda Sakti, Ananda Maya Kosa, Ananda Taratmya. Ananda Taratmya, Taratamya, Taratamya, Ananda Taratamya. Gradation of bliss. The nature of release is graded in Dvaita Vedanta according to the soul's level of knowledge. The four levels are entering the abode of Vishnu, Salokya, proximity to God, Samipya, having the form of God, Sarupya, and united to God, Sayujya. Ananta, infinite, without end, endless name of the snake upon which Vishnu rests, from Anta, Sanskrit for end, Ananta, which means infinite, so putting an A in front of Anta is negating the infinite, negating the end, that it ends, it doesn't end, it's endless, right? So Ananta is endless, infinite, name of the snake upon which Vishnu rests. Ananta. Ananta Darshana. So Darshana, Sanskrit for perception, possibly. Ananta Darshana, perception, Darshana. Ananta Darshana. According to Jainism, the soul in its pure state possesses infinite perception. Ananta Jnana, infinite knowledge. According to Jainism, the soul in its pure state possesses infinite knowledge. Anantara, immediate proximity. Ananta Sukha. Infinite bliss. According to Jainism, the soul in its pure state possesses infinite bliss. Ananta Verdya, infinite power. According to Jainism, the soul in its pure state possesses infinite power. Ananya, similar but not equal, non-different, identical, and non-separate, which one who has realized his or her oneness with the absolute Brahman, Ananyaha Se Sattva. Ananyaha Se Sattva, absolute serviceability to one only. Ananyatha Siddha, indispensable antecedent, a technical term employed by the Vaisesika school. The cause is the indispensable or necessary antecedent of the effect. Anapadesha, fallacious middle, Anapadesha. Nanyatha Siddha, Anpadesha, Anapeksha, independent. Anapadesha, an instance of fallacious reasoning wherein there is no connection between the major and middle terms. Anapadesha. Anapeksha. Anartha. Anapeksha is independent. Anartha is suffering, evil, and harmful. Anartha. Anartha Danda Vrata. Anartha Danda Vrata. A Jaina ethical code of conduct which enjoins one to abstain from harmful activities, refraining from the minor types of evil activity, contemplating harm to oneself or others, purposeless mischief such as gambling, having articles of destruction, giving harmful advice, and purposeless listening. Anartha Hetu, undesired middle term. Anartha Hetu, Anarvatina, ancient, determinate, and indeterminate perception, a type of perception which does not need the help of the sense organs. Pratyaksa. It is the knowledge possessed by God, Isvara, eternals, Nitya Suri. Eternals, pluralized, is Nitya Suri in Sanskrit. Nitya Suri. It almost has a surdi in it, like surdas, which are divinities. Nityasuri. Nityasuri. Has that surdi. Asuri. Nityasuri. Right? As in surdas, divinities, angels, surdas, then you got asurdas, which are demons. And liberated souls, mukta. It is liberated souls, mukta, according to Visadvaita Vedanta. So that term is anavartina. Anavartina, ancient determinate and indeterminate perception. Anavartina. Anardya, ignoble. That's a good term. Ignoble. Right? It's like the opposite of noble. Right? Ignoble. Unholy. Anardya. 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 Anasakti yoga. Anasakti yoga. The yoga of non-attachment, of desirelessness. Right? A lot of desires, right? That's suffering. Right? The more desires someone has, right? Never mind attachments, right? That can be suffering. Because what if you don't get what you don't? What if you don't fulfill those desires, right? That could be suffering. Anasana, anasana, an external penance in Jainism, fasting. Anasrava, anasrava, undefiled. Anasarta tadva, anasarta tadva, independent categories, unaffected by Maya. Maya is Sanskrit for ignorance or illusion. Illusion. Yeah, Maya is illusion, right? Anasarta tadva, anasarta tadva. The first 5 categories in Kashmir Saivism. An act of cognizing consciousness in which there is no objective content as yet. Anatha, without a protector. Anatman, without substance, not self. Atman is the self, so Anatman is not self. Anatta is a Pali term. Anatta, Pali, where we get Nepal, right? Nepalese, right? Pali, right? They use the same Devanagari alphabet as Sanskrit and Hindi, okay? Pali, Nepalese. Same as Anatta, Anataman, Anatta. Anaupadika, unconditional, necessary. Anava, impurity of ignorance, impurity of minuteness. So anava is just that ignorance, impure, how impure the ignorance is. Anava. Veil, stain, one of the impurities or limitations which brings about bondage of the universal self and reduces it to a limited individual being, the individual's innate ignorance of his true nature. Mala. It is the root impurity. Mula mala. The root of impurity. It's mula mala. It is the cause of delusion. See, mula means root. Mala means impurity, right? Mula mala. It is the cause of delusion by which the infinite soul becomes finite. It is a beginningless positive entity which is the original cause of soul's bondage. It is due to anava that the other 2 malas, karma and maya. Karma would be like attachments and desires and wanting shit, right? Wanting things. Your mother's also like karma is like we're endlessly reincarnating many times because of karma, for example, right? The 2 malas, karma and maya is illusion, get tainted and become fetters for the soul. Fetters are like binds, shackles, holding us down, attachments, because karma is heavy, right? So it's binding us to the earth realm. It's binding us to ceaseless reincarnations. It's binding us with all these soul ties and all these karmas, right? All these attachments to the physical realms, all these desires, right? That's fetters for the soul, okay? It has 2 powers. Avaraka Sakti, concealing, and Adanaya Maka Sakti, projecting. Concealing and projecting. We know about projection. We were doing this whole psychology study, right? Adanaya Maka Sakti, projecting. Anava, impurity of ignorance, impurity of minuteness. Veil, a stain. Anava mala. Anavakasa. Anavakasa, that whose scope remains unfulfilled. Anavasthita, anavasthita, that's a S and a TH combined with an I. Anavasthita. Instability, inability to find a footing, mental unsteadiness, one of the obstacles antaraya of yoga. Anavastita, instability, inability to find a footing, mental unsteadiness. Anavastita, 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 anavasta, anavasta, infinite regress, regressus ad infinitum. Some Latin in there. Regress means to go backwards. You're devolving, right? Anavopaya. Anavopaya. Atomic means path of self-limitation. One of the 4 steps to liberate, according to Kashmir Saivism. It refers to the approach through individual effort, the yoga whereby the individual utilizes his senses, breath, prana, mind, manas, right? Sanskrit for mind is manas, right? Manas, right? Chitta, intelligence, mind, manas. For self-realization is also known as Anava Upaya, Beta Upaya, or Kriya Upaya. Anaya bring. Anaya means to bring. Anda, cosmic spheres. The whole, they are infinite in number according to some traditions. All the cosmic spheres is Anda. Andaja, egg-born body. Anda Tamisra. I don't see an order. A type of false knowledge, self-love. Anda Tamisra. Anekanta, manifoldness, versatility of aspects. According to Jainism, nothing can be affirmed absolutely, as all affirmations are true only under certain conditions. Anekanta Vada, the theory of relative pluralism, manifoldness. According to Jainism, all things are relatively manifold. Nothing can be affirmed absolutely, as all affirmations are true only under certain conditions. Thus, the nature of reality can only be expressed in several steps. No single definition is adequate to describe all of its manifoldness. Anekantavada. 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 Anga, limb, individual part, accessory, member, technique, a scripture from the verb ang, to move. Ang, to move. Anga, to move. Ang, to move. There are 8 limbs to Patanjali's Raja Yoga. See Astanga Yoga. According to Buddhism, the name of each member of the 12 links in a causal chain of existence. See Pratitya Samutpada. According to Jainism, the Angas are chief scriptures. Anga, limb, individual part, accessory, member, technique, is scripture. Ang, to move. Anga. Anga Bhya. Not incorporated in the 12 Angas, subsidiary canon. One of the 2 classes of knowledge contained in the Jaina scriptures. This class has 12 varieties within it. Anga, the name of the Jaina sacred books, or canonical literature. There are 11 Angas, which constitute the oldest existing Jaina canon. Anga Pravista, incorporated in the 12 Angas, one of the 2 classes of knowledge contained in the Jaina scriptures. Anga Pravista, Angastala, part of the classification scheme of Veda Saivism. Satstala, Lingastala, and chart number 14. Angatva Bodhaka Pramana. Angatva Bodhaka Pramana. Angatva Bodhaka Pramana. The valid means of knowledge, which gives knowledge of ancillaries. According to Mamsa, the list of principles by which one could decide whether they obtain a subsidiary relation or not. These principles are direct assertion, sruti, indication or capability, linga, context, prakarana, position or proximity, sthana, syntactical relation, vakya, and designation, samakya. Angi, the whole. According to Visadvaita Vedanta, the individual is a part, anga, or mode, prakara, of God, who is the whole Angi, goddess Vara, together with individuals and matter, is an organic whole. Angurdas, Vedic sage, Rishis, one of the seven celestial sages. Angurdas, Vedic sage. Vedic sage is also known as Rishis. Maybe like Rishi mushroom, right? Rishis. Angulitva. What's that fucking? Fingerness? Angul, yeah, true. Anguli is Hindi for finger, right? Anguli, fingers, right? Anguli, Hindi for finger. So Angulitva is fingerness. Angulitva. Anicca, Pali term. Anicca. Anima, little, minute, atomization, the capacity to become small like an atom, to be invisible, one of the supernatural powers of yoga. Anima, animita, no cause, uncaused. Anindraya, not a sense organ. Anindraya, Anurmoksha prasanga, Anurmoksha prasanga. Anurmoksha prasanga. Anurmoksha. Anurmoksha. Wow. A-N-I. So then there's this letter, this line. That's a R. But if there's also another one going that way, that means it's O, right? Honored, right? And that's a M. Mox, and that's a KS. So that's a PR, P and R combined. Prasa, and that's an N and a G combined, ends in A. Anurmoksa prasanga. Anurmoksa prasanga. Impossibility of release from the cycle of birth and death. Can't stop fucking reincarnating. It's called the wheel of samsara. It's called karma. It's called attachment. It's called desires. It's called wants. It's called lusts. It's called programming. It's called conditioning. It's called obsession with physicalness. It's called endlessly physicalizing the spirit into material form, right? It's called reincarnation. It's called sorrow. It's called desires. It's called avidya. It's called ignorance. Impossibility of release from a cycle of birth and death, constantly fucking reincarnating. Never mind those Gnostic archons co-opting that Vedic wheel of samsara. Right? Never mind that. Anurmoksa prasanga. Impossibility of release from the cycle of birth and death. Anuruddha, free, without hindrance, unobstructed, one of the four vyuhas of the theistic systems. Vyuhas. He emanates from Pradyumna and rules over ego, Ahankara. Sanskrit for ego is Ahankara. He protects the creation and makes known liberation, which results from practice, sadhana. Sanskrit for practice, sadhana. He has consummate potency, which results from practice, sadhana. He has consummate potency and splendor. He is the origin of the sub-vyuhas. Hersikesha, Padmanuba, and Dumodara. Anurvachanaya, indeterminable, as either real or unreal, indeterminability, inexplicable, ineffable, inexpressible. See avidya. Anurvachanaya, anupapati, Anurvachanaya, anupapati, the untenable of the indefinability of ignorance, of vidya, ignorance. Vidya, knowledge, A negated, avidya, ignorance. One of Ramanuja's 7 major objections against the Advaita theory of ignorance, avidya. See Saptavida Anupapati. Anurvachanaya Kyati Anurvachanaya Kyati, indefinability of apprehension. The theory of error of Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta holds that the theory of error is neither real nor unreal. As the objective error is sublatable, it is not ultimately real, and as the object of error is perceivable, it cannot be said to be totally unreal. It cannot be both real and unreal, for that amounts to a violation of the law of contradiction. For perceptual error to take place, two main factors are necessary. There must exist a substratum, adhisthana, Sanskrit for substratum, adhisthana, on which the false is superimposed. There must be a defect, a dosa. You get that in Ayurveda. They talk about dosas, defects, called ignorance. This ignorance projects the false object upon the substratum, aka adhisthana. Anurvachaniya kyati, anurvachaniya kyati, anurvatyavada, anurvatyavada. So that's a R connected to a V, ANI, anurva, that's a ch connected to a Y, tia, that's a V, that's a D, anurvatya vada, anurvatya vada, yeah, anurvatya vada. The doctrine of the indeterminable, the indefinable, the inexpressible. Anisargaja, not natural. Anista, undesirable. Anitya, impermanent, transient. Nitya means constant. Anitya means impermanent. Anitya dosa, occasional defect. Anitya. Transient. Anitya dosa. Anitya phala, non-eternal results, transitory fruits. Anitya sarira, non-eternal bodies. There are twofold, non-karma made bodies, a karma karta, and karma made bodies, karma karta. Again, they are classified as either non-amulant or amulant. Like movable, right? Actually, in the English term, ambulation. To ambulate means to like walk, right? Ambulate, like if you enter ancient churches, kind of, or what do you call them? Temples or synagogues or mosques, or the Christian, maybe monasteries, something like that. In the beginning, you enter the cathedrals, right? You have an ambulatory, okay? Because you're walking, that's the entrance, it's the ambulatory, right? Again, so ambulate is like a really fancy term to just say walk, kind of, to ambulate. So again, they are classified as either non-ambulant or ambulant. Anitya sarira, non-eternal bodies. Anityata, transitoriness. Anityavada, the doctrine of momentariness. Aniyata vipaka, fruition of actions, not restricted to one life. Anjali, handful of flowers, hands held with palms together as a greeting. Ankurta is a sprout. Ankusha, still an AN, Jesus Christ. Ankurta, sprout. Ankusha, gold, one of the divine weapons. Ankh to bend, kunk, unts to bend, or ankh to bend. Kunt to contract, make curves crooked. And food. Ad, to eat. Ad, to eat in Sanskrit. Ad, to eat. Anamaya kosa, the sheath of food. It is the outermost sheath enveloping the individual soul. It is made of food and is also called the physical body or the gross body. Anamaya kosa, anaparna. You got the herb punanarva, okay? Annapurna. I was just at a vegan place called Annapurna. Full of food, goddess of food. Anna, food. Purna, spell. The great goddess Sakti, depicted as the goddess of food and abundance. Annapurna, Anotapa. Anotapa, hardness of heart. Anartha, falsehood against the law, untruth. Anta, extremity and death, essence of. Anta Karana, the internal. Anta Karana, the eternal organ, inner sense, inner instrument. Inner causes, it is comprised of the intellect, the mind, the ego, and the consciousness. Buddhi, Manas, Ahankara, and Chit. According to Advaita Vedanta, the Sankhya school recognizes only the intellect, mind, and ego as comprising the inner organ. It is the seat of the function of the senses that is distinct from their outer organs. It receives and arranges what is conveyed to it through the senses. It reflects objects by its relation with the self, Purusa, according to Sankhya, or by its relation to the self, Atman, according to Advaita Vedanta. According to Advaita Vedanta, the perceived variations of different individuals' cognitions are due to the difference in their respective antahkaranas. The inner organ functions by streaming out an object, illumining it, assuming its shape, and then cognizing it according to Advaita Vedanta. Anta Karana Vrti, mental mode, modification of the internal organ. Perception, the mind becomes identified with the object perceived and takes its form. Anta Prajna, inwardly cognitive, the dream state wherein consciousness still functions but is not externally manifested. This dream consciousness is technically called Tejasa. Here the dreamer experiences subtle objects which are projections of the mind. Anta Pravesa, entering into Antara, internal, interior, inside. Antara Bhava, an immediate, intermediate state between death and rebirth, according to Buddhism. Antaranga Sadhana, proximate aid to liberation. In Raja Yoga, the last three limbs of the Astanga Yoga, contemplation, meditation, and union, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, are known as the internal spiritual disciplines. Sadhana, Katustaya, and Astanga Yoga. Antaratman, conscience, inner self. Antaraya, obstacle, a subtype of karma, particle which binds the soul. The Yoga Sutra lists the following obstacles on the path of yoga: illness, vyadi, langostiana, doubt, samsaya, heedlessness, pramada, sloth, alasya, dissipation, avarati, false vision, Vranti Darshana, non-attainment of the higher levels, Alabda Bhumikadva, instability, Anavastitva. These are all called distractions, Viksepa. According to Jainism, there are five types and are responsible for obscuring the inherent power of the soul. They obscure, respectively, charity, profit-making, enjoyment, willpower, and circumstances under which enjoyment will be possible. These actions, karma, determine the inborn energy of the soul, by the obstruction of which it prevents the doing of good action when there is a desire to do it. Antarbhuta Karayita, Antarbhuta Karayita, Antaraya, Taratman, Antarbhuta Karayata, imminent cause of creation. Antariksha, sky atmosphere from Antara in the middle. Oh my god.
Alright, this is part 1, letter A, Sanskrit.